You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Last year with the spring portal, 2 years ago we had a couple injuries. When they replaced the turf in Memorial Stadium, I felt a little bit better about it. But without the spring portal, just didn't really incentivize us last year to be out there playing. And when people could watch that tape on national TV and then call a kid. So, but we missed it. We want to do it. We think it's a great thing for the fans. It's a great thing for people that want to come watch us play. And once they kind of changed the calendar, we went back to a more traditional setting.
Across to Keller. Back out to Edwards. Edwards with a shot. Score! The United States ties it with a goaltender pole with 2:04 remaining. The captain, Hillary Knight. The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net. Score! Megan Keller, the overtime hero. The United States wins gold and Milan.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live. I'm Ravi Lulla here in my basement. Austin, Jacobsen, and Rico are kind of spending a little time with me this morning. Austin, what's up, buddy?
Oh, hey, what's going on?
Rico, what's up, bud?
Hello, friends.
That was so funny watching you just go up by yourself to start.
Yeah.
So funny.
Hi.
I really like the big zoom in on your basement. It's a great memorabilia wall. You look disheveled. It's great.
I look disheveled? Why is that?
Yeah, you look like you slept heavy.
Is it just because I don't
you
have
do have those big
on?
sleepy eyes? Yeah.
Well, I always have big sleepy eyes. I'm tired most of the time. Speaking of tired, so DB will be joining us here in a little bit. He's obviously with the snow situation and school-age children dealing with some logistics here that at least Austin and I don't have to deal with. I don't know what Rico's doing with his life. But
I told my kids that they had to play in their room because Daddy had to work. And KJ said, "Can we be loud in our room?" I said, "As long as you close the door, I don't care."
Wow.
Now they're upstairs bothering my wife, so I kind of feel bad.
No, I think that's perfect. That sounds like fatherhood in a nutshell.
Can go help her. There's no requirement for you to open up the snow day edition of Hurrdat Sports Live.
But I'm working.
It sounds like he doesn't want
the show is over. She's got to work, so then I'll take the kids. So
okay, we got a little balance there. Yeah. So DB will be joining us a little bit later. Scott, we're all snowed in. That's
not
why
me.
we're in.
Did you not see? I got out there. I shoveled. I was out at 5:30. I was plowing that road. I was doing my business.
I did not. We rent, and the people who we rent through came and decided, you know what a great time to shovel the driveway and sidewalks and stuff would be? 1 a.m. So that woke Miles up, and I like wake up in bed, and Rachel's gone, and I was like, "What's going on?" And she comes back, and she's upset, and I go, "What happened?" She goes, "They decided to shovel at 1 a.m."
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I appreciate their willingness to get out there. Out there, get quick and do it. But it is unfortunately,
but they're very loud
if you've got children. Yeah, I think my snow removal guys are been here and gone, so appreciate that from him. Shout out Brad. I scooped a little bit though. I scooped my deck stairs so that my dogs could get down.
Thank God.
Of course you did.
Way to flex. You have a deck, Robbie. Wow. Thanks for adding that in. Did I mention my deck had snow on it? You'd be surprised how much the boat got covered last night. It was crazy.
Oh, just the worst.
I just
wonder how that lakefront house is doing. Is there any snow?
We don't have a lake house.
Or he said, luckily the hot tub was on, so it melted the snow on top of it. We didn't have to worry about that. Clearing that off.
I mean, you got to just wait for the snow to melt off the boat. You don't want to go out right now anyway. Come on.
The cover was on our heated pool, so we're fine.
No, we don't have a pool. How dare you?
I don't know these things.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't have a pool or a
Thanks for letting us know.
Anything else, though.
Glad you're not pool rich. That's really good for our friendship to know. Yeah, because I would be over at your house.
You didn't deny like the boat or the lake house or the.
I did deny the lake house. We don't have a lake house.
Oh, thank goodness.
Or a hot tub. We do have a boat.
Do you have boat shoes too? So there's that.
Oh well, you have to. I mean, that's what they're for.
You don't.
It's for slippage.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
You have to have the right amount of. You have to have the right amount of grip on a wet boat deck. Come on now. What are we talking about here?
I don't like the term grip there.
You don't like the term grip?
No. Just
well, what else?
Right.
Friction? What else do you want to call it?
No, friction works. Friction's
worse. I feel like friction's worse. Austin, you've been out at state track all week? How has that been?
Not state wrestling. Track would be difficult. Yeah, track would be very difficult this time.
I mean, especially with this weather.
No, wrestling has been great. And actually, I have a topic you guys want to dive into.
Let's do it. What do we got?
All right. I know you probably saw this. I tweeted it yesterday, but look at this cow quote. Did you guys see this? It's incredible.
I did. It's phenomenal. Can we blow that up at all?
Yeah, hold on.
There we go.
Oh, geez. Well, Rico messed it up. I had it right the first time, so
it's fine. I'm trying
I feel like a lot of smaller towns look down on Lincoln schools because we're city kids and we don't wrestle cows, I guess.
That's from Kinley Harris, a freshman at Lincoln Southwest. She brought in the first girls state wrestling title for the entire city of Lincoln on Wednesday. So she actually upset Kearney's Carson McBride, who was Kearney's first girls state wrestling gold medalist a year ago. So really, really like huge moment and everything. And this is the quote I am fearful she will always be remembered for. There's no way she will ever escape this. Like there's simply no way.
I don't think it's a bad quote. I think it's a great quote.
I was gonna say, why?
The first time I saw it, I was kind of like, I don't know. But the more I read it, and the more I look at it, I go, you know what? I would love to be known for this quote. Like, especially if she goes on to win like 3 or 4 state titles, like that's always going to be her.
This also has to be so dramatically out of context. To be perfectly clear, did not read the article, so I probably should. But just seeing this quote, I was like, oh my God. And that's no slight. Like Brett, I love Brett. Brett does a great job. Like I like reading his stuff. This one specifically, I was like, it's better for me to not read the article because I want to live in the world where this quote is the entire article.
You said she was a freshman?
Yeah. I almost said true freshman, but you can't be more freshman than like a freshman in high school. So.
That's true. That's a very freshman quote also. Like that's something where after she said it, like her coaches see it and everything, and they're like, probably shouldn't have said that. But it's fine. It's out there already. It's fine. It's not like somebody from a small town is gonna try to hurt her or anything. Like we don't wrestle cows.
Well, to be fair,
we flip hay bales.
Depending on where she is in Lincoln, a lot of roundabouts, a lot of one ways. Ain't no way they're finding them. There's no way anyone from small towns going.
That's true.
So, first of all, I love this quote. It is peak Omaha Lincoln versus the rest of the state energy. Number 2, I can't imagine a context in which this quote gets any not this. You know, like I can't imagine what else she could have said around this quote for it to not feel the exact same way.
It's a great point.
You know?
So, like, Ravi, I guess. So this is a question for the group. I probably can't speak on this because this is more for you two. Is Omaha Lincoln versus the state the true rivalry now rather than Omaha versus Lincoln? Does this quote set up a new standard of state rivalry?
So I think it depends. Typically, I'll be honest, as an Omaha original, it's usually Omaha versus Lincoln and then Omaha versus the rest of it. It's basically Omaha versus everybody. We're very combative.
That's a great shirt, by the way. Hurrdat brand goods. We should make that.
Omaha versus everybody. I actually do kind of love that. That's incredible. We could also make a Nebraska versus everybody shirt, so we're a little more inclusive, but we can do both. I would buy an Omaha versus everybody shirt tomorrow.
We should put Lincoln versus the cows. For sure. I might text Julian and see if he can make that for me.
Yes.
Lincoln versus cow wrestlers. So I do think there are times though where Omaha and Lincoln are kind of like, hey, like we're the cities here. Everybody else, like, come on, what are we doing? I don't think it's very often. This might be one of those times. The we don't wrestle cows might be one of the times that Omaha and Lincoln are, handshake meme.
Being in all 3 instances, being in Omaha, Lincoln, and then living in Kearney for multiple years,
you can't take the 3 away. You can't.
I can speak on this on a different level. No, it's usually Robbie's right. It's usually just Omaha versus the rest of the state because Omaha being, the biggest city. And for a couple people that I know, even my wife, sometimes she likes to joke that Omaha is so close to Iowa that you might as well just give it to Iowa. So it's a lot of times where it's just Omaha versus the rest of the state. But Lincoln, especially with this quote, I think Lincoln's trying to move in on that and be like, hey, can we join you in fighting everyone else? Like,
now,
it's kind of funny.
I want to give her credit here. And obviously, like, she's a Lincoln native. She's from Nebraska, all that sort of stuff. So, like, the national narrative of, like, all they have is corn. Big move on her to not, like, dive into that narrative and just be like, oh, I guess they're just, like, wrestling in cornfields. Good move to bring in the cows because cattle production is really high in this state comparative to the corn value. So, kind of, like, thinking 3 steps ahead for old Kinley here.
Is she trying to move the needle for Nebraska?
Maybe.
Probably more accurate because let's be honest, everybody that's lived in Omaha or Lincoln, you still drive past cornfields from time to time. Like cornfields are not so far out of the city that you never see them if you grew up in Omaha and Lincoln. You don't see a lot of cows. I think that's an important distinction to make here. Cows are much more Western Nebraska than corn is, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I grew up at 140. I grew up at 144th and Pacific, and there was have no reason to make that quote in the first place, but that's true, I guess.
There were cornfields literally across the street from Millard North. Like Boys Town still had cornfields as of like 4 years ago in West Omaha. So like there is the corn is much more ubiquitous than the cows are in the city still.
I mean, I grew up in South Omaha, so I saw and smelled cows all the time.
That's true, but they weren't like living here. Like they were brought in.
Not anymore.
No,
they were brought in.
They were brought in to die.
This is the one time in my life, and for my people that I can do this. Rico, I'm welcoming you back into my life for the 308, so you can do this. You get your 308 pass back for this. Very unique Kearney experience, Ravi. I want to let you know about cows. So in Kearney, when the wind comes from the south to the north, it's like a breezy day, or even just like maybe on a still day, there is a huge like cattle production that is just south of Kearney, that no matter where you are in Kearney, you can hear all the cows like mooing at any time of the day. And if the wind hits just right, the entire town just smells like cow manure. And so you're just stuck in it. There's just nothing you can do. And it's a unique experience walking home drunk from the bars as a college kid, and you just hear these echoing moos coming from out of nowhere.
The ghost cows.
Yes.
You don't see them. You never really see them, but you can hear them.
You can always see them.
So when I spent my 1 year in school at Norfolk, the wind direction from the cattle ranches was a very big thing. Because everyone, the wind direction from the cattle ranches,
the city name,
Norfolk.
Okay,
that's how normal people say it. I don't know what to tell
you.
Yeah,
what did you want it to be there, Rico?
No, you said Folk the first time.
No, I really didn't.
No, he said Norfolk.
I'm gonna go back and get it.
I didn't say fork. I know that. Norfolk.
You're not a fork guy?
It's
I'm
Norfolk.
not a fork.
It's Norfolk.
What do you?
The North Fork River.
Yeah, they misspelled it on a map, or it got smudged or something, and nobody calls it that anymore. All right, except for people from Norfolk. People from Norfolk call it Norfolk.
Oh wait, are you? It's Norfolk. It's 100% Norfolk.
It's Norfolk.
People outside of Norfolk don't call it that. They call it Norfolk.
I'm not people inside of Norfolk. It is definitely Norfolk.
Yeah.
See,
I wasn't wrong.
You were wrong about what I said. I didn't say Norfolk or folk. I said Norfolk. Like you spell the word Folk like in English, folk.
Mm-hmm.
It's pronounced folk. So I said Norfolk because I can read.
But
there's no R in the second half of that word.
Norfolk. It's Norfolk.
There's no R in the second half of that word.
It's not, but that's how you say it.
All right. You guys are doing some weird British stuff with your R's and Worcestershires and things like that.
Worcestershire. No, it's 100% Norfolk, and you're just incorrect. Sorry that you're all high and mighty, better than the rest of us. Oh, I lived at 144th and Pacific. I know how to pronounce things. Oh, I went to Millard North. Whatever.
Great.
Sorry, I wrestled cows. My bad.
Boat shoes.
So did you ever wrestle a cow, Austin? This is important.
No, I tweeted this last night that back at Jacobsen Incorporated, my role was to put down fence post, and sometimes I branded cattle, but I was fired as a young Jacobsen from working the cows because I was too weenie. I just couldn't handle it. So
there's
a part of the process of branding cows that when you actually press iron to flesh, that they're, it's probably pretty painful, I'm guessing. The cows don't like it. And when you look a cow in the eyes during that process, you're never the same person. You become a different person in that moment. And I chose not to be that person anymore that keeps branding cows. So that was me.
Well, look at you showing some empathy, some mercy.
Yep. And now look at me. I'm on a digital radio show with two of my friends from Omaha. That's what I came out to be. This is actually very funny. I've said this in a work group chat before, too, that it was this last Christmas. I went back to my Jacobsen's family Christmas, and I immediately got asked if I was a lib because I've lived in Omaha for more than a year. So that was very eye-opening for me, that I was like, let's go, city boy. And then on top of that, they were like, well, not only did you move to the big city, but you also got that college education. So we didn't know what happened to you. All right.
Yes.
Sorry, Uncle. My bad.
There's
changed, Austin.
There's a famous cliche about the UNK elites. You got to be careful there.
Education from UNK takes you a long way.
It does.
So I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just, I don't think anybody is looking. I don't think everybody's like, those elites from like Harvard and Yale and UNK. Like they're never the same after that.
You haven't heard that UNK is the Harvard of the Midwest? Come on.
I have.
Thank you. Thank you for finally putting some respect on their names.
Also, Kearney, the Paris of the Midwest, I think, is what I've heard as well.
We do have a tower.
So you have arches. You have arches.
We have arches. We have 3 McDonald's, Archway, and then a Yanny Tower, and we have a Top Golf kind of now. So
how do you kind of have a Top Golf?
They
just put up a not Top Golf that is for sure Top Golf.
Yeah, but it's not
different brand.
Yeah, like a personal. And I don't want to disparage local business or anything like that, but I do think they missed the window. Maybe.
Oh, the hype window.
They're just banking on that college kids will still want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they did the right idea. They put it next to a beer house, which is a great idea. I mean, because if the kids go there first, then it's like, well, we got to go to the Top Golf. I mean, that's just a given.
They're gonna go to the Top Golf after the beer house every
time.
Also,
I mean, not to disparage Kearney or anything, they're probably a little bit behind the trends, right? Maybe it is the right time for a Top Golf.
Are you suggesting the internet is slower out there? That things don't get out there as quickly?
You serious?
I think maybe they don't build. I think maybe they're not on the trends as quickly. I think that's a reasonable assumption to make.
Yeah, it's not to fault my parents, but since they do come to me for most of their sports news, I can confirm that's a little true, at least in their home. Like my mom, like a couple weeks ago was like, did Mike Ekeler get fired? And I was like, oh, Mom, you're like a month behind. Like,
I can't wait for like 3 weeks from now when you go home again and they're like, hey, what'd you think about that halftime show?
We all watch Bad Bunny. Come on, I texted you guys about the Bad Bunny show.
Miller Time says another Hurrdat shirt, UNK, Harvard of the Midwest.
I'd wear that.
We actually, Hurrdat Brand Goods does have a licensing agreement with UNK. If they approved that, we could make that shirt.
Can we get away with saying Harvard though? Like, is Harvard a general term? Like,
could you say
Harvard?
Ivy? Say Ivy. Ivy. Just say Ivy. Ivy of the
Ivy of the Midwest.
Yeah. Or we could do Harvard, like the Boston pronunciation with Harvard.
Harvard.
Put a bunch of H's in there. Yeah.
Yes. There is also a Harvard, Nebraska. We could be making the argument
that
it's
would
Harvard,
be great.
Nebraska. I'm just saying.
Great pull on Harvard. I didn't think you had that in you, Ravi. That's
so
fantastic.
So you put like Harvard and then like real small print.
Nebraska.
Just put NE.
Yes.
All right, Ravi. Ultimate ball knowledge. This is your chance to make right from all your small town quotes.
All
Harvard.
Right, what do we got?
What level of football does Harvard play?
That's gotta be an 8-man.
I think they were 6-man this last year. I'm going to double check you on that. I'm going to double check.
All right.
I'm pretty sure they were 6-man, but yeah.
I was thinking D2 here.
Okay,
you were just trying to give Harvard more credit.
What about this? Rico, you get to be judge, jury, executioner on this. So do we judge it off of this next year's classification or what they just played to give Ravi the credence?
Whichever one I'm right on, that's what we should judge.
I would say there's no way he knows what they're moving to. I would say off of what they just played.
What they just played? Okay, so let's check. All
Mm.
right, buy me some time. Set up the show or something, Robbie. Do something.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell
Coming
people
up-
what's happening.
I got to remember how to host a show here. Coming up on the show today, we've got Tim VERGHESE at 8 o'clock. He will join us from inside Nebraska. I believe that's around the time DB will be joining us as well. And then we will have Mike Sautter from Hurrdat Sports and NAB Preps at 9, and he'll be able to fill us in on some additional Nebraska State wrestling, not track, because I'm not a moron twice in a row. And folk. We had somebody in the chat say that they said at Norfolk their entire life as well, and they're from Norfolk. So I'm gonna count on that.
I'm sorry that you're wrong.
I don't value those people's opinions.
Yeah.
I value the people that think I'm right. I went on. TK says I went on 3 visits for recruiting purposes to NAI schools in Kansas. They all said they were. They all said they were the Harvard of the Midwest. I chose one of them, and I chose wrong.
That's tough. That's very tough.
It is tough out here. It's I can't remember where he told me he went to school. I think we might have played him in basketball at one point, but probably not at the same time he was there. And TK famously not a basketball player.
So final tally here. Harvard was 6-man last year and 6-man this upcoming season. So
okay. When's the last time they played 8-man football? Do we know?
It's been a while. They played in the 6-man title game, I think, in 2019. So it's probably been close to a decade that they've probably been an 8-man. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough. It's a miss on my part. That's okay. I knew they were sub 11 in terms of number of players on the field, but I'll try to give them a little
Proud of
extra
you for
credit.
knowing that.
That's a great guess.
Robbie,
I think I want to play the game with you at some point. Maybe we could do this just like you did your 99 NFL quarterbacks yesterday, which was great radio, by the way. In case you didn't have any visual aid, that was just super fun to listen to.
Encourages people to watch the YouTube.
But I think we should try to give you like maybe Class C1 and lower schools, and you just maybe do you want to guess their mascot, or we give you the mascot and you guess what school it was? I don't know what's more fun for you.
Ooh, I think I would do better guessing the mascot based on the school name.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not guessing like the school or town based on the mascot. That's
Yeah, I would be very bad at that. To be fair, I'll be pretty bad at the mascots too, but I've watched enough like high school state championship coverage that I'll probably get some of them.
Yeah.
But if
a
I
name will like tingle the back of your brain. You'll be like, I know this.
Yeah, there might be
the term tingle there. That's
it might be
tickle the back of your brain.
No tickling here.
No
Rico,
tickling.
We don't need
no
that.
tickling, no tingling. Let's keep the teas out of here. Yeah.
All right. No tease.
I think I would do that. That feels like an off-season show, a summer show.
Yeah, we'll just pencil that in for like July 10th or something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Great holiday show.
We'll figure it out right when we come back from break. We'll
I'll get it ready.
Yeah.
Get the
yeah, great point. We did get to use Rico's 99 NFL quarterback thing the entire time he made that graphic for yesterday. He worked on it Wednesday in office, and I told him, I was like, that this isn't they're not gonna get to this. Like, you're spending way too much time on this right now. But no, he did.
Yeah.
He kept telling me that, and I was like, "Look, man, it's just in case. Like, I'll just have it. Maybe I mentioned maybe they'll get to it, sometime in the summer. But we'll just have it. It'll just be ready for whenever they need it." And he's like, "Well, I will be so excited to use it on Graphic Graveyard." I go, "Yeah, me too."
Well, so I told him that I thought eventually we would get to it because it was like an evergreen topic until August, basically. I was like, in sometime in the next 6 months, we will get to this.
Yes.
I can't tell you when it'll be. It might be July 31st, but at some point we will get to the 99 quarterbacks. And we did, and I was pleased with it.
And I love how the one thing that kept getting asked was, what college did these guys go to? Like, oh, the one thing I didn't do. Love that.
Also, it was great too listening multiple times when you would try to move on from having Damon guess another one, and you'd be like, so the thing that got me here, and then Damon would be like, who's number 38? And then you would have to go through the whole rigmarole of again. It was a beautiful just encapsulation of the show in general, that it's like, what a great topic to have two great football minds debate. And instead, we're just going to nitpick and try to figure out each and every single selection.
We got to it eventually. We got to it.
And I just love how Damon just kept going, I can't read this. And I just wanted to comment, oh, I'm sorry. I needed to put 99 quarterbacks on a graphic. I'm sorry that the text isn't bigger.
Which I'll say this. Baker Mayfield over Ryan Tannehill at 99. I think I can make a solid argument for that.
Ooh,
I don't think that's like not having Baker Mayfield on that list of like all like I heard you say like Herbert there a little bit, but to not have in my opinion, like Baker Mayfield, I feel like deserves a little bit more credit for that. And I'm a Baker honk in that sense, but in terms of general talent, in terms of like how they have played, I don't know what their stats would look like, but of course one's career is complete, the other is still going on. So I don't know how much that factored, but I would have put Baker Mayfield at 99. I feel like that would have felt right.
You got 99 QBs and Baker ain't one.
You've been waiting for that bar all day, haven't you?
Sitting on
I have, yeah. TK says, is the listener draft big board going to have smaller font, Rico?
Well, the thing is, I don't know like everybody's names. Like, do I need to actually make like a big board with the people? That's a lot of listeners. First off, so yes, I don't. We'll have smaller font.
I don't think you'll make a big board. We'll just have to type it in as we kind of like you did with the quarterback draft where you typed it in real time.
Hold on, folks. We have breaking news. Are you guys ready?
What's that?
We have a mock-up design from Julian at Hurrdat Brand Goods. Are we yay or nay on this?
I kind of love it. I kind of love it.
I think he said he could get to this to me today, so I might wear this at state wrestling.
You 100% should.
Can you?
Oh my
God! Can you ask him if I can get one as well?
No, it's for me. This is my idea.
Oh, I want.
He said he has one, but I'll ask if he can make another one. Yeah.
If not, totally fine.
I will
just be extremely jealous.
In Omaha.
Okay, well, if this pops off, then we have to sell it, right? Like Lincoln versus Cows. This is incredible.
100%.
Incredible.
Dude, this is why the Brand Good guys are the absolute best. Speaking of which, somebody in the chat.
You need to gift that to her.
You should. You should see if they can make one for her.
Oh my God. I'm going to figure out what spring sports she plays, and I'll give her a big game chain and a Lincoln versus Cows hoodie. That is
like, incredible. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you remember what you said when you won a state title in wrestling, but here's this.
So Baker Mayfield career. Leave the context up there for a second for people that are
just for people who weren't at the very beginning of the show.
So Baker Mayfield, remember these numbers, Austin, so I can go look up Tannehill in a second. So he is 58-62 as a starter, 63.5% completion, 28.5 for yards, 197 touchdowns to 101 picks. So those are my Baker Mayfield numbers. He has started 120 games in his career. So he might be a little short on the resume in terms of how long he's played. But let me check out Tannehill here. Yeah, so Tannehill's at 81-70, so a little bit bigger of a winner. 64% completion, 34.8 on yards, 216 to 115 on interception. So actually pretty similar. Like relatively similar.
Really, I mean, like they're not going to remake this list year after year, obviously. But like, if one career is over, you're basically taking Tannehill because you just don't know what happens to Mayfield, right?
I think so. Yeah, like if Mayfield fell back into his late Browns years after this season, he probably doesn't make the list. If he continues the way he has for the last few years, he probably bumps Tannehill. I think that's fair.
Russell Wilson had to be on that list too, right?
Russell Wilson was on the list. Yeah,
he was in like the 70s, I think.
I don't know, but see, that's something that like, and I know again, like it's 99, like that's the whole argument, right? Like there's so many quarterbacks, and obviously, Ravi, like we talked about at the beginning when I sent it to you, that it was such a great conversation starter, and just the fact that like there hasn't been that many actually great quarterbacks. Like you can have great quarterback maybe seasons or like moments in time, but to have great careers is so unique and not as like maybe specific as we make it to be, because like Russell Wilson in the mid 70s like makes sense.
Russell Wilson's 25.
That's way too high.
Wow.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
So here's the accolades. He is a Super Bowl champion, which gets everybody but Trent Dilfer on the list. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler, which Pro Bowls don't mean anything to me. His numbers are better than we think they are. Like career, he's at 47,000 yards, which is a lot. Wow. He's at 353 to 114 touchdown to interception. He's a full 3-1. And there's not very, I did this a couple years ago with some of the all-timers. there's not very many people better than 2.5 to 1 in their career touchdown to interception ratio. Like like Aaron Rodgers is a huge outlier. He's like 4 to 1 almost, but almost everybody else, including like Manning and Brady, are much closer. I think they're just at 3 to 1 or just under 3 to 1. So that's a huge ratio for Russell Wilson. Also, he's at 65% completion. He's got a 60% winning percentage. He also has 5,500 rushing yards.
Yeah,
which is more than more than Bo Jackson, by the way,
and had a Super Bowl and 2 Super Bowl appearances, which they seem to value huge.
I think they value appearances. Yeah, I mean, I think they value appearances.
Because there are some guys at the bottom of the list that are like just insane. Like it was Rippon or whoever for
Mark
Washington.
Rippon, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was an insane inclusion. Like there was just some names at the bottom of the list you're looking at, you're like, oh my God. Like I just never thought that this would be a guy to be considered one of the top quarterbacks ever. But we're not talking about the top quarterbacks ever. We're talking about 99 quarterbacks in history.
I do think Kobe's right. The recency bias on Russ has really like soured us on him. For the first like 8 to 10 years of his career, he was really good. I mean, when that trade happened, even with Denver, like a lot of people considered that was a good deal both ways. Yeah, there was a little bit of momentum the last like year and a half in Seattle that Russ was kind of fading a little bit. He was one of those guys where when he kind of lost like half a step, it actually really hurt his career because he lost some of that dynamic ability that he had, as I mentioned, with the 5,500 rushing yards. But he was legitimately very good for a long time. 25 might be a touch high, but like he's definitely looking at the rest of the list. I mean, you can't put him under like top 50. I don't think. Yeah, that makes sense. You've got a couple in here, like Steve McNair had like a couple awesome years, but didn't have a ton of longevity. He got the MVP. Cam Newton is kind of the same way. MVP. Yeah, no, and yeah, Kobe's right too. Like the recency bias is fair because like I'm a Cam Newton honk all the way through, but Cam and Russ in their last like 3 seasons, I mean, they're basically comparable in that sense. Russ was actually like more of a starter than Cam was at times too. And those last full seasons of Cam Newton being a full-time starter, especially in New England, real bad, really, really, really bad. I actually think he stacks up reasonably well. Like off the cuff, you'd probably say Donovan McNabb better than Russell Wilson, right? Maybe that's a little too. I might take Russ, but that's just because. But that's more national narrative too. I mean, like McNabb was just hated by everybody. Like nobody liked Donovan for whatever reason. I don't know. He was so good the first like 10 years of his career in. But my point was, I think they're reasonably comparable. They really fell off late in their career. Like Washington, Donovan McNabb was horrifying. But the difference is, like, I guess a Super Bowl is worth 17 spots, which I can't really argue with. I just really think Russell Wilson's just later years it's the recency bias, but it's just so hard to get past like the whole Broncos country, let's ride. And then just the extreme failure in Pittsburgh, like all of that for whatever reason completely overweighs almost everything he did in Seattle. And then when you think of Seattle, Russell Wilson, a lot of people immediately go to the second Super Bowl where he throws the interception at the goal line. So it's a lot of negativity just overshadowing all of the positivity and all of the great things that he did do up in Seattle those first few years. I do. I love 11 selections on here just off the rip. The top 10 to me almost looks perfect. And then Matthew Stafford at 20, I think is, I really like Stafford at 20 right there because, if Stafford gets another Super Bowl, he leaps a couple of those guys. Favre is way too high here. He's a one-time Super Bowl winner. I get that he won a couple 2 or 3 MVPs, I think. But like the way he played the position does not stack up to the other guys in the top 10. The gunslinger, I'm just gonna huck it and chuck it. Yeah, like he's got some longevity stuff, but he's not in the same category. Like I think I said this yesterday. I'd take Breeze, Young, Marino, Unitas, Stafford, Roethlisberger, at least those 6 guys over him. So Aaron Rodgers is up there for the 1 Super Bowl. Does he have 2 MVPs? He's got more than that, I think.
He's got like
and
four. Didn't he tie Peyton's? I think they have like 4
Oh,
or
does he
5 or
Yeah.
something like that.
And his numbers are actually insane. He's one of the biggest outliers statistically.
Well, yeah, he averaged a 4,000-yard season every year in Green Bay, like once he took over as a starter, I think.
So
just because I was thinking like statistically, like
4-time MVP.
Okay.
So that's aggressive. And
that's it right there.
Statistically, he's got the lowest interception rate of all time. He's at all dear God. This touchdown interception ratio is insane. Okay. 527 touchdowns, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how many interceptions he got? Just like a ballpark.
You said 527 touchdowns?
Yeah.
You said it's in. I don't know.
Rico
I'm gonna go either too high or too low, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna go 120.
123.
Oh,
look at
527 to
Feel like DB.
123.
That's real good.
That is by far the best one I found of anybody that's played more than like 6 minutes. Like he's such an outlier statistically, even to guys like Brady. I'll bring up Brady's here for you real quick because I think we think of him statistically as a huge outlier. He threw more interceptions than we think he did. Especially early in his career. There was several in the teens.
Well, and post ACL too, he had that one year where he was like very mid. It was like that first year coming back.
Yeah, so I'm obviously very, very good still, but he's got 649, which is awesome and ridiculous. That's the all-time record, but he's got 212 interceptions. And they've played not quite as long, but like they've both played a very long time. His interception rate is about 0.5 percentage higher than Rodgers, and he's very squarely in like the 3-to-1 ratio as opposed to 4-to-1. It's it's insane. Rodgers is actually insane.
If Rodgers wasn't so unlikable.
Oh, 100%.
He'd be so much higher. Like he'd be so much higher on everybody's all-time. Like a lot of people you're not supposed to take in like the personality, whatever. You're just supposed to go with the stats and the production and everything. But for some people, it's almost impossible. And that's kind of what it is with Rodgers, where despite all of the talent in the world, you're going to have him extremely high on your list, but he should be so much higher. But he's such a Dean Blandino that it's hard.
I also think that there is like, it's really hard not to look at his talent and be like, that man should have more than one Super Bowl. Like for that level of
that'll always be the argument, right? I mean, that's what he's chasing right now. Is like he's doing the same thing Stafford is. As long as if you can get a second one, that's what you're fighting for.
I mean, that's the thing with Manning. If Manning only has one, he's not 3.
Manning has 2.
I know if he's only got one, he's not.
Oh,
3.
okay, yeah.
Like if he never gets the one in Denver, which by the way was a trash year for him. Like he had really good years in Denver. Yeah, he had really good years in Denver before that. I mean, arguably statistically his best years. But if he doesn't get the second Super Bowl when he is limping to the finish line and Von Miller just carried his sad old body to a Super Bowl, like he's below Mahomes and Rodgers and maybe Elway. Like he's probably closer to the Drew Brees range because that's who Drew Brees is. Unbelievable stats, won Super Bowl, right? Like that's basically who Drew Brees is.
Yeah.
And I don't like if Aaron Rodgers has one more, you're probably talking about him at 3, I would guess. Because Mahomes can't stack up with the stats yet. He hasn't had that long of a career.
I also don't know off the top of my head if this is completely accurate, but Ravi, just to your Hall of Fame argument, I think your cutoff is actually at 38 and up. I don't see like currently in the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I don't think that there's anyone past that 38 mark. I believe Sonny Jurgensen is in. I think the rest of those guys, unless they are either just recently retired or currently active, I think that
Cunningham not in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think so. Is Randall Cunningham in? I'm not positive on that.
I don't believe so.
But I know Ken Anderson has been on that list because he was in the Roger Craig category where like he hasn't been in and he was like just out on like the past couple of votes too. So I think it's like right there at 38 or 39.
Randall Cunningham is not in. I'm trying to think. I thought there was a couple randos like late. Some of the old guys that were Super Bowl winners. It's not. Daryl LaMonica's not in. I thought
No.
there were a couple.
Jim McMahon's
randos.
not in there.
No,
Is
Jim
he?
McMahon is not. I
I don't think Plunkett's in.
Is Don Meredith? Don Meredith feels like one that might be in.
Great.
Did
name.
Archie get in just based off of how good he was on bad teams?
I don't think so.
Oh, Hall of Fame? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think he's in, no.
No, Archie Manning is not in. Don Meredith is not in.
I think you might be right.
38 might be the cutoff. I thought I found a random one yesterday when we were doing this. Oh, Blanda's got to be in. George Blanda's definitely in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you have one outlier in that list.
Yeah,
so,
Blanda's in. He also played until he also like punted until he was like 70.
Yeah. But
He
I
only
like,
started 103 games as a quarterback.
Is he in as a punter?
I don't know what he's in as, but he is in.
utility.
He's a utility player.
That's a good pull.
Funky asks an interesting question. Well, TK says, I don't think we're talking enough about Y.A. Tittle.
A Tittle touchdown goes hard, though.
Tittle touchdown goes so hard. At what point do you consider them compilers versus legit contenders? So that's a very good point here, because that's one of my main arguments about Brett Favre. He played for a very long time. He compiled a ton of stats, but nothing in terms of outside of the prime of his career. He's not a guy like Rodgers or Manning or Brady, who I thought was good, like dominant late in the career. I know he had a nice run that one year with Minnesota. But like those other three guys, longevity wise, are just completely different. I do think, I'll be honest, I think Breeze is a bit of a compiler. Like, when's the last time, when in his late New Orleans years, when was the last time you looked at him as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and B, the New Orleans Saints as an actual contender?
Yeah, because they weren't winning the NFC South. They were constantly in cap hell, and they were always like, that was when they were going like 7-8 or 7-9 or 8-8, like every single season in the NFC South those last few years. But then in his final few seasons with Sean Payton as well, that was when they had the NFC Championship game against the Rams, or I think that was in the Superdome, and they might have been the 1 or the 2 seed or whatever it was, and they ended up losing on the non-PI call. I think they also had another year the next year where they went to the postseason. It was the next year that a couple of years later they had beaten like the Bears or the Eagles, like in a wild card too. Like they had a couple of like wild card teams, but yes, you're right. Like there was a lot of non-playoff years for Breeze where he still threw for like 5,000 yards or 4,000 yards and had a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, so the stretch that I'm thinking about, and he was better, they were better late in his career, but he also got banged up a little bit the last couple of years and didn't play full seasons, which is the only reason he didn't get over 3,000 yards the last 2 years, because he didn't play a full year. But I'm thinking about the stretch in like the mid 2010s, like 2014, 2015, 2016, 2012. They go 7-9, 11-5, 7-9, 7-8, 7-9, and those are all 5,000 yards, 4,900 yards, 4,800 yards, 5,200 yards. So like, I think he is also the system in which he was playing in. I think like a bunch of guys would have put up really, really insane numbers doing what he was asked to do. You know,
just
like
throw the ball. They didn't run it. They didn't utilize the running game whatsoever, it seemed.
But then,
Drew Brees throw it.
But then the argument for Breeze, obviously being a top 10 quarterback, is one, the stats match up. Maybe they weren't a contender, but did he elevate them into basically contender-ish categories like every single season? I think that argument is yes, but that is hard. I mean, like when you try to juxtapose that, I understand like where the argument starts, but then, okay, so who do you want to put above Breeze? Like where that's the next part of the conversation. You're like, okay, I can agree with you where you're coming from, but then who do you want to move up over him? You want to put Otto Graham? Like I could see the argument between Breeze and Marino. Like,
Stafford. I would put Stafford over Breeze. I would put Steve
If Stafford
Young
gets
over...
that second Super Bowl, he's into the top 10 immediately.
Is Stafford not Breeze right now? Like
exactly.
Well, I would argue that Stafford is a better version of Breeze.
He's got a better. Is it wrong for me to say he's got a better team?
They're the same quarterback.
because he put up almost the same numbers for most of his career being on horrifying teams.
But with the most generational receiver at his disposal.
But one, and everyone knew he was throwing to him. Like he never worked with a good offensive mind.
Was that more Stafford, or was that more Calvin Johnson going up and getting the ball?
Yeah, I mean, so you're going to compare Drew Brees throwing the ball to have like 5 different Walmart cashiers? Like, what are we talking about?
Well, he also had Sean Payton. What's Matt Stafford doing with Sean Payton?
How do you rank Marquise Colston and Calvin Johnson against each other?
I mean,
because that was his best
very
receiver.
Good. But here's my point.
But everyone goes Marquise Colston and Megatron are the exact same receiver. You're right. I hear that in the streets.
It happens all the time. My point is, like, even with Calvin Johnson, he gets what, like 1,400 of his 5,000 yards? Like that, we're talking about a different thing here. Like he would still have an incredibly good season if you removed all of Megatron's receptions from him. Like that's the point.
Yeah, but Ross is making a good point. He had Megatron, then he had Devontae Adams, and now he has Puka Nacua. Like the dude has had like generational receivers.
We're getting white receivers now too? Come on, Cooper Kupp.
Sorry. Since he has gone to LA, his entire career has been different. I understand that. But
because he's working with a great offensive mind?
Defensive side to help his team out.
Imagine if
he's working with a great offensive mind. You're making the same argument 2 different ways.
No, Sean McVay is basically Drew Brees basically had Sean McVay his entire career. His name was just Sean Payton. If we're talking about Matthew Stafford having Sean McVay for his entire career, we're having a totally different conversation, and he's nowhere near number 20. That's my point.
Yeah,
Sean Payton was more valuable to Drew Brees than Megatron was to Matthew Stafford.
But
that is the argument I'm making.
Matthew Stafford also did something that nobody else on this list has done, and he went 0-16.
That's not true. He was there the year after.
Never mind that.
Yeah. He didn't go 0-16.
Come on, Rico.
Come on,
Sorry.
Rico.
This guy doesn't know lines.
He also did something nobody else did, which is drag the bum-ass Lions to a playoff appearance more than once. Like, what are we talking about?
Much like one Jared Goff with offensive-minded Dan Campbell at his disposal.
Who was his offensive coordinator? And
so now we're getting to coordinator talk. Perfect. I'm really glad you brought that up. That's perfect.
I mean, it does matter if your head coach isn't like – if Sean Payton was a defensive-minded guy and had an incredible offensive coordinator, we're having a different conversation. Matt Ryan's best season of his career happened with Kyle Shanahan as offensive coordinator.
Okay, then what? Then credit Ben Roethlisberger because then he doesn't have all the stats. And
I said I'd put Roethlisberger over Brett Favre.
That's fair. So would you put Roethlisberger in the top 10 then?
Probably.
Roethlisberger is actually probably the best culmination of this entire argument because he's a winner, but didn't necessarily have great stats. His interception rate has to be awful compared to some of those guys in the top 10. But then you look at the coaching staff, the people that he had around him. He had some talented teams. His best statistical years were some of the probably hardest years actually for Pittsburgh, if I remember right, just off the top of my head.
I think Roethlisberger's interception rate's better than we're remembering. It's like he had some bad ones, but it's not awful. And he does have 2 Super Bowls, which matters. Let's see. So he was
years that's.
He was 418 to 211, so he was a full 2-1 guy. Like that's in line with a lot of the guys historically.
I think.
Would you say, Austin, that the worst years or the hardest years for the Steelers were when they had to rely on Ben to make the plays, as opposed to not saying that he was a game manager or anything like that, but as opposed to having him do what Drew Brees or Peyton Manning or those other quarterbacks did, where it was all on them to make all those plays and get those touchdowns and lead their teams to victory, where it was Ben Roethlisberger making the right plays at the right time.
Well, also, weren't the Steelers 2 Super Bowls that they won with Defensive Player of the Year candidates on their team and or winners, like with James Harrison, obviously in the Arizona Super Bowl, and then in Super Bowl 40 when they the Seahawks and the Seahawks had to play the refs and the Steelers at the same time, and Roethlisberger wasn't great in that Super Bowl. He was actually pretty decent that year. And then his rookie season too, Roethlisberger went, I think he was 14-0 in the regular season. So he's a winner, but he won on teams that were really, really good defensively. And he continued to get better as he got older offensively, and his stats definitely changed as that went away. But then Pittsburgh didn't win as much once the team changed to an offensive dynamic. It just didn't stay the same consistency as the level of winning that he had before.
You know what argument you're making?
Please.
It's the exact same argument that is 100% true of Tom Brady until the last part of his career in New England.
Fair.
Like
Good point.
the
So
first,
his first Hall of Fame.
But Brady was winning Super Bowls once he got past the statistical years.
But when they went to a more offensive style and it was all on him, he still won Super Bowls.
Okay, but not for like a decade. That's my point. There is a decade gap in there where Tom Brady is putting up crazy numbers. He doesn't have a 30 touchdown season until Randy Moss shows up.
Yeah.
In 2007. He has won 3 Super Bowls at that point. His numbers in the first 3 Super Bowl seasons are not crazy. Like, they're very normal guy numbers. They are not greatest of all time numbers. And then you get to the Randy Moss season and everything changed. And as Austin said, they went to a more offensively minded philosophy and they didn't win another Super Bowl until 2015, I believe. Like, they went a very long time. The only difference, honestly, in this scenario between Ben Roethlisberger's career and Tom Brady's career is that Tom Brady lasted forever at that level. But
Tom Brady was
came back.
Tom Brady was also winning the AFC East every single one of those years and making the playoffs and still winning a game or two in the playoffs. Like, they weren't making it to the Super Bowl, but they were still the top of the class in the
Steelers
AFC.
Didn't have a losing season ever.
Yeah.
They didn't have an under 500 season.
That would be a losing season.
Come on, Rico.
Literally, by definition, a losing season.
You could be at 500, not be under 500.
They were.
Which is still not a losing season.
But it's still not.
No, Rico,
it sounds better when you say not a losing season.
Here, hold this. Hold this L. You lost.
That's not what it is.
Yeah, that was.
Austin football knows. Purgatory is what it is.
Austin knows.
Because you're not great, but you're not bad enough to get a good
You ever just watch your friend make a terrible point and you're like, ugh. That was like your friend get hit at the bar and you're like, I don't. Do I help? What do I do?
I think Roethlisberger is underrated on this list. I think that we forget because of what the end of the career looked like for Brady, that there is a decade in the middle of his career with New England where not only did we think he was washed, but we kept saying he'd get off to a slow start and be like, oh, is this it for Brady? We also didn't think he was going to win another Super Bowl. Like, he went from age. So what was the third Super Bowl was 2004, I believe. So he went from age 27 all the way to either 37 or 38 without a Super Bowl. Like, my dude went he went a decade without a Super Bowl. He did not throw more than 28 touchdowns in a year until Randy Moss showed up. He didn't throw fewer than 12 interceptions in a year until Randy Moss showed up. Like, all the arguments we're making against Ben Roethlisberger could also have been made for the first, let me count here, 15 years of Brady's career. He just decided to go 8 more after that, which no one thought was a thing, which is why he's the GOAT. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But the arguments against Roethlisberger, I don't think are aggressive. I don't think they're aggressive enough to keep him out of the top 10. I think Roethlisberger is
Brady was still in AFC championships 6 of those years.
Oh yeah.
So
Brady
were the Steelers. The Steelers were in AFC championships constantly. They just lost to people a lot, but they made AFC champions. It's not like they weren't contenders.
Okay, so before, obviously, we're getting to Tim here in a bit, but this is the last part of this that I thought was curious. The modern court. So we kind of established that 38 spot and up is kind of the Hall of Fame cutoff technically. You do have modern quarterbacks that are currently in present day in their career. They retired today. Essentially, this list, if you're at 38 or higher, if you retire, you are a Hall of Famer, correct? So Mahomes, I think we can all agree, Mahomes, if he retired today, would be an NFL Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. What about Lamar and what about Allen? Where do you and I guess technically you can throw Russ in there too since he is still active as well. Those 3 are Hall of Famers and Stafford, so 4.
Stafford and Russ, yes.
Russ,
I don't know about Lamar and Allen yet. Lamar's close. He has the 2 MVPs, but not much in way of playoff victories. And then Josh Allen is kind of the same way with his MVP and always losing to the same quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah. So the The Lamar one, I think, is the most interesting here because it would be very weird to leave out a 2-time MVP. And I don't think they should. I also think the narrative around Lamar is one that could get him in more question in terms of his Hall of Fame status than he probably should be. I think it's the same for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson should be in, I think. His stats are way better than we remember, and he's obviously got the Super Bowl. The Lamar one's interesting. The Lamar one is I'm afraid we may end up putting him in the Cam Newton category. And no offense to Cam Newton, but he's better than that.
Yep.
And I don't know how Lamar Jackson will be remembered if he doesn't go on to figure out a way to win a Super Bowl.
I think Lamar's been a better quarterback overall than Cam. I think that's like a fair shake if you're trying to evaluate the two of them. I think Lamar's just been more consistent of a winner. Team has went probably further than where Cam had been up to kind of the certain point in the career. Cam obviously has the 2016 season that puts that, I guess, a notch above. But I have this argument constantly with some of the Panther fans that I have in my life where they're like, well, Cam Newton's a 100% Hall of Famer. I was like, 100% is kind of hard to be able to justify. He's a really, really good quarterback, but there's going to be a lot of really good quarterbacks that he has to go up against that he statistically doesn't have the same. It'll be interesting to see where Lamar and Josh Allen and those guys all shake out, because the truth of the matter is if they retire today and there's an argument in 4 or 5 years for one of them, you almost have to argue both of them at the same time, because I feel like you can't put one in without the other.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree there on if you can put one in without the other.
Are they not just the same? I mean,
how much heavy?
Lamar's been to one AFC championship game. Off the top of my head, Allen's been to 2 and has lost both to Mahomes. Both of them lost to Mahomes. So obviously Mahomes is just the Grim Reaper of AFC quarterbacks of this era, where all these guys just can't get past him. So how do you evaluate and credit them while also giving Mahomes like the credit for it too? That's what the differentiator is. That's where I say, okay, so statistically Lamar's got the extra MVP, but overall, like Allen and Lamar, their stats are going to be similar enough if you squint, but I just don't.
Okay.
That's where it gets tough, is that I feel like you have to put both of them in at the same time if that's the argument you have to have.
So if neither one of them, I'm not going to say wins a Super Bowl, if neither one of them makes a Super Bowl and they just continue on the path that they're on, putting up disgusting numbers, and let's say maybe they both win one more MVP, and they just keep going at the rate that they're going, I think that they're kind of on the path that you're saying, where when you look at one, you look at the other, and you're like, I mean, they're practically, obviously the stats will be different, but they're practically the same guy. How much heavy lifting is Cam Newton's Super Bowl appearance doing? And I know you said you don't know if he's a Hall of Fame, but how much is his Super Bowl appearance doing for his Hall of Fame resume? And if one of them makes a Super Bowl, how much heavy lifting will that do into getting them kind of a nudge into the Hall of Fame? Not even winning obviously is going to more than likely get whichever one of them wins one into it, just based on their stats and being that Super Bowl champion. But if you're just a Super Bowl appearance and you put up some decent numbers in the Super Bowl, how much is that going to assist them in getting into the Hall of Fame? Because I think that that's something that we're not talking about, is not even guys winning Super Bowls, but just making it, and how much that means for their resumes.
Yeah, I mean, I think so Steven brought up both these guys, Stephen Young did, brought up an interesting, not Steve Young, number 9 on the list, brought up an interesting point, and then we'll get to Tim here in just a minute. But they both kind of run into the Michael Jordan problem in the 90s, where you have somebody that's so great, but that he basically blocks other people's paths to some of the great milestones that we talk about, whether it's MVP awards, whether it's Super Bowl appearances, whatever it is. People give some of the greats of the 90s a pass on not getting a championship because of Michael Jordan. Nobody really holds it against Karl Malone or Charles Barkley or, John Stockton or Gary Payton or some of these other guys. They're like, yeah, you had the Jordan problem. It's fine. Yes, it gets brought up with Barkley from time to time, but everybody still thinks of Barkley as an incredibly great player. They're like, oh man, you know how he went toe to toe with Jordan in the 93 finals. I don't feel like people hold that against them. Now, has Mahomes risen to that level, and have these Allen and Lamar risen to the level where we give them that consideration? I don't know, but I do think you're sort of grading on a curve here when you've got a guy that's basically just sitting in the road saying you shall not pass. Like that's not really like we're talking about sort of a different thing here with that.
Well, I mean, you think about this year's NFL playoffs where after Mahomes tears his ACL, everybody just kind of looks over at Josh Allen. It's like, all right, now's your chance. Like you literally heard it from people in the studios. Like, now's your chance, Josh Allen. Like, he's gone. The roadblock is gone. This is your best chance to make and win a Super Bowl.
It was, I mean, and frankly, you know, like some of the guys like Roethlisberger faced the same thing, and Manning faced the same thing with Brady, where their path to conference championships or Super Bowls or whatever was blocked by Brady just being like, nope, this is my spot. You guys fight for the scraps. Like that's a thing that a lot of these other guys on the list didn't have to deal with. You could make the argument with some of the guys with Montana in the 80s had to deal with that to a certain degree, but a lot of these guys on the list didn't have to deal with that in their careers to kind of get these achievements. So I do think that's
how many of these quarterbacks were that person? Like, was it Brady and Montana? Like, is it 1-2?
I don't even know that Montana is to the same degree, because they went to the 4 and they won the 4. Like they didn't lose any, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like Mahomes won 3 and lost 3 now. Like you're just, he's already been to more Super Bowls than Joe Montana. You know what I mean? So like I don't know if Montana qualifies. I do think Brady and Mahomes certainly do. I know we got Tim waiting for us. Let's take a quick break here. Reset, and we'll get Tim VERGHESE going from inside Nebraska. This is Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, you know, with the roster turnover that now happens in college football, with the amount of players that come in the portal, with the amount, high school kids now enrolling early, we felt like our school calendar moved up a week, so we started on the 10th as opposed to most years we started on Martin Luther King Day, Monday. So because we had an extra week on the front end, we wanted to lift for 6 weeks, but we wanted to get all these players really mainstreamed into the football. We wanted, we didn't want to go 8-9 weeks of them not being around their coaches, so we wanted to get into the fundamentals of football, kind of see what we have, and then really still have on the back end, because of our school year now, 6 or 7 weeks of training afterwards. So, with the roster turnover that now happens in college football, with the amount of players that come in the portal, with the amount, high school kids now enrolling early, we felt like our school calendar moved up a week, so we started on the 10th as opposed to most years we started on Martin Luther King Day, Monday. So because we had an extra week on the front end, we wanted to lift for 6 weeks, but we wanted to get all these players really mainstreamed into the football. We wanted, we didn't want to go 8-9 weeks of them not being around their coaches, so we wanted to get into the fundamentals of football, kind of see what we have, and then really still have on the back end, because of our school year now, 6 or 7 weeks of training afterwards. So we thought it'd be a great way to install, kind of what we want to do offensively, defensively, and special teams. Really let the guys see where they are football wise, and then have a chance to continue training after that.
This year, it just makes it so much easier on me because I know there's a bunch of guys that take responsibility for their own work, kind of like what we're saying with the offensive stuff. And I don't have to worry about, making sure a guy's locked in or doing the right thing because everybody's taking care of their job, their role, and buying into that. And so for me, I can show up each and every day and just be loose and free and trust that guys are supporting me and I can support them. And having college baseball experience underneath my belt definitely helps, but having these guys in the locker room and even the pitchers backing up our offense just allows us to go out there and be free, and allows me to show up and say the right things and continue to just hold the standard.
All right, Lay down. Lay down.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at our respective basements. DB, how are we doing this morning?
How we doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good to see you. We're also joined now.
Did you miss me?
I always miss you, DB.
I highly doubt that. I feel like I should put
No.
my headphones on, but I'm kind of enjoying the ear freedom without them.
That's true. You're not a big headphones guy.
No.
Let's bring in our next guest, Tim VERGHESE from inside Nebraska, joining us here. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how we doing?
TV, how we living, buddy?
I can't complain. I mean, relatively. It's cold and it's snowy, but I can complain.
How many inches did you get?
Oh, I have not measured, but it looks like a good bit outside. I'm in Omaha, so like just as much as y'all.
Oh, which parts? I forgot you moved.
Yeah, I'm in downtown, so I'm like right by Block 16, basically.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
So you're about 4 blocks from my barber, who I'll see shortly. Maybe if I can get out out here. So I'm in between 108th and Harrison and Q, and it's a good, I don't know, 9 inches maybe. I'm probably low on that, but it is an absolute poop ton. Ravi, you got bashed too, didn't you?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because the drifts are so aggressive. Like, I don't know how much accumulation we got but there's places around my house that are over a foot. I don't know if that's drift or actual snow or like, you know what I mean? But there's it's hard to maneuver.
TV, super interesting yesterday. And I guess I'll start with Coach Rhule with the presser, and he's intimated. He said, "Listen, I want to get going. Guys are in the building early and early. I want to get started with this bad boy. Plus, we get the time afterwards." He's apparently done his homework, right? Because he's done it a ton of different ways. He wanted the 8 full weeks of winter conditioning, then take the break. Like, he's had multiple ways to do this. What do you think this says about the next evolution of just trying to get better?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's encouraging that, they just beyond even just the time change, it felt like the tone and the way he was talking was they did assess what other programs were doing, successful programs within the Big Ten were doing, and how they can adapt and find that edge. And I think that's encouraging that on top of your own process, you're also constantly evolving that, constantly kind of like reflecting. I personally, I don't know. I haven't done the research into like morning versus afternoon practices, and even the time, like the moving up of spring. But I can sense obviously there's a sense of urgency in terms of wanting to get to work with this team. But I also think there's you could feel that yesterday too, right? I think there's an excitement on like figuring out what this team is. Like, I think they're
just not they're just not complacent.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pieces they're excited about, but like, they just kind of want to get out there and see what this all looks like on a football field.
So, Tim, I thought one of the things that was interesting about the practice times in particular was, I think Dana was talking about, the number one thing for recovery is sleep. And these kids are going to the bed at the same time, whether we wake them up at 5 or wake them up at 10 or whatever the time is. I also, there's obviously the research about, you want to practice at whatever game times that you're going to have. But with as varied of the game times as there is, like, it does kind of make sense just to be like, let them sleep. We'll figure out the game time and performance peaking kind of later on. We'd rather them be at 100% more often than not.
Yeah. I would wonder a little bit, like, and this is something probably the staff will figure out as they go through it, of just like, okay, adjusting, because for a lot of these guys, like the calendar, they've gotten used to practicing in the mornings, and then they'll, kind of switching back to the afternoon. Like, everyone's gonna have to be disciplined about getting to bed at the right time after practice, because the days just shit, like the time you have in the day just kind of shifts with this. So I mean, it's for everybody. It's going to be an adjustment. It's far from like the biggest concern or anything. But yeah, like I'm interested to see how they kind of navigate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was always an afternoon guy. I get the peak testosterone thing in the morning, and studies have shown, but it's just, I think the thing that I find the most interesting is kind of like the changing of the 8-week to the 6-week schedule for lifting and winter conditioning, and they're constantly tweaking. And I get it. That comes with the glass half empty aspect too. Like, you can't settle. But when you aren't getting all the results you want, I think it's important to make sure you're exploring other alternatives. So if nothing else, the changing of the body clock and the rest part of it, because I thought it was key. And I've said this to Caleb for, I don't know, 18 years. And you're going to go to bed at what time you go to bed. Right. So like, that's just kind of the nature of things. Because even when you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to try to go to bed early, I mean, the body is what the body is, right? It's going to be on the schedule that you try to establish for yourself. So I like the fact that they're trying to explore all options. Now, and you can get your work done on the front end too. I know Dana talked about pros and cons to morning versus afternoon, but I like meetings. I like front end time, and then I like application on the field. Now, you lose a little bit post practice, but again, that's what the iPads can make up for too. Like, I think you can get in a good chunk before you hit the field.
Yeah, in this era, I mean, with the technology they have, and I mean, just the facilities they have too. Like, yeah, it's those, like, it's like that adjustment's fine. I was curious, and I am curious to see kind of if how they practice evolves, like actual practice structure and how they view practice in general evolves at all based on any lessons potentially learned from Indiana. Like, I don't think it's going to be a Nebraska thing. I wonder if a few staffs kind of have some lessons learned from Indiana's like practice structure, which for people that don't know, they are during game week, it's 4 practices a week for an hour and a half. Like, they're very efficient with their practice time, and they really prioritize rest, and it's more on the instruction part of it than the application part of it, in terms of what they do on a week-to-week basis. So I wonder if there's any evolution. And Nebraska's not Nebraska wants to practice, they want to get the reps, so like it would be more of like, maybe evolving to like a happy medium. But I would be curious to see if that evolves at all.
Yeah, I do wonder, Tim, you bring up a good point with Indiana, and I've thought about this. I do wonder how many people will try and like copycat them, whether it's practice structure or some of the other, maybe the way they evaluate or the way they go about their business. And I wonder how much that's going to set certain people back because they don't have Curt Cignetti, right? Like, a lot of those things I think work because they have Curt Cignetti. Like, you could have gone in and like, I think Tom Osborne did this. He would invite people to practice, like people could watch whatever they wanted, and you're still not able to replicate it, right? Like, It's still like there's a certain amount of fallacy in trying to chase something, I think, but there's also, you don't want to be ignorant and say, hey, there's nothing to learn here. Like, how do you find, like, where's that balance in your mind?
So you can't replicate the process because the process is authentically kind of, or like, it's true to him and it's authentically his. If it's not true to you, you can't replicate that. So yeah, like I don't think someone could go in and try and do the like a second-year head coach or third-year head coach or whatever can't come in this offseason and turn around and say like, hey, we're doing things this way now. We're doing things this. We're going to do like this. We're going to like this, and like just start doing like Cignetti-isms essentially, like and trying to install some of this. Like, it's not going to work. It's not going to go. It's not authentic. It's not going to go through. It's not going to resonate. But I think there are individual lessons you can take from Indiana's success and things you can apply from their overall process. That it's not the entire process, but it's like, okay, like, like a team can say, oh, well, that's it. I mean, we already saw it. We've already seen it, in these last 2 portal cycles, and even in high school, where you have seen something of of other teams trying to replicate the team building model of it's a very sound team building model, and one that people can replicate. Of you prioritize experience and these specific traits you look for that regardless of position, you want toughness, hip and ankle flexibility, stop-start ability, just again, like high motor, high effort. Like if you're looking for those things and you're looking for experience and exactly like, and it's like, okay, this is like based on what we want in this position, it's limited to this. Like we've already seen teams start to kind of replicate that, mimic that a little bit. Or try to at least. I mean, look what Nebraska did in the portal at defensive back. They didn't go out and get a bunch of P4 transfers in the secondary. It's a bunch of guys from Towson and Florida International and San Diego State with a ton of experience that fit what Nebraska's looking to do, that are going to come in and like play immediately. So I think there's certain lessons you can't replicate the whole process. Yeah, I mean, like Matt Rhule can't walk in, this offseason and start talking like Kurt Signetti and start doing the he can't start doing that. He can't start like trying to again speak like Signetti and trying to immediately apply everything. But like practice is something you can add. Nebraska, for example, like practice is something maybe you could apply, because that's something that you could be like, hey, from a research standpoint, like we looked into it, we've done it, and I know the staff would if they look into it, they're going to do their due diligence to like assess the science behind it, and so they'd be able to explain, like, look at the way they explained this, like it wasn't just, hey, we're moving practices from mornings to afternoons. It was, well, we consulted with everybody about this. Like they're not going to rush into it just because someone else is doing it. They're going to do the due diligence. I'm curious to see if what other programs, what that looks like when they do start to apply some of these things that they maybe learned from Indiana without like really looking into the process behind it.
So it's interesting too, because I listened to Coach Orich talk yesterday. And Shano, it's clip it's clip number 4 from Orich, if you have that ready to go. But he's talking about kind of the base deals on what he wants to run and kind of how it's implemented. Shane, do you have that clip ready to go?
Yeah, so we talk about like the tunnel of execution. Like there's a lot of things going around college football right now between portal and media and everything that's kind of taken the spotlight off college football, and we're focusing on the ball. And we need to execute at an elite level. We need to dial into our package and master our core concepts here through spring. And when I look at our defense there, I think the pieces are there. I think the talent's there. I don't think it's a question of the personnel. I think we have to execute and play the defense at a high level. And all our focus on how fast can we get our guys to execute at championship level.
It's interesting because with the 4-2-5, people will tell you, unless you coach it, I think you may think like this, but people will say, oh, there's not that big of a difference. He walked through, a stand-up in, and but the fits and how guys go, it's pretty clean, right? You get a 1 technique, you get a 3 technique, you play with a 5, play with a 6-eye. So with a tight end, so the fits are a lot cleaner right now, right? It's as opposed to like when you play a tight front with 3 down. It can be hard to set the edge from off ball in a stand-up position. So it may look similar, but the premise is vastly different, especially for second-level guys. Based on how the 4-2-5 is supposed to look, let's say if you humor me with like a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 6-eye or a 7 kind of player, who's impacted the most immediately, in your opinion? The second level or cleaning up the third level fits? Got to flip back to some audio here.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. I think it's a second level. The only reason I think the third level is because Orich does ask a lot of the safeties and nickels in the fit. And that's going to be I mean, Nebraska's safeties and nickels have been active as run defenders, but I think that's going to be a bit of an adjustment just in terms of, I think, what they're going to demand from their safeties and like in terms of execution and practice as tacklers. I think that the standard's going to raise a little bit, but
it'll be much cleaner and much faster. I know.
Yeah, but no, I mean, just fundamentally at the second level, it changes the most. I just think in terms of like when you talk about Nebraska, I think with Chambliss and Foster coming in, I kind of trust those guys to adjust and I mean, Chambliss has played in this, you know what I mean? Like this is nothing, it's not an adjustment for him, but like I think Foster is going to be obviously a bit of an adjustment and even for Shavers and whoever else emerges from that room, it's going to be a bit of an adjustment. But I kind of trust that room. But no, like yeah, like I think if I'm understanding your question correctly, I think fundamentally it's going to be the second level.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm fascinated by it too, because with Nebraska's, last year they would try some of these principles and they couldn't get the edge set quick enough, right? And if you're playing with 2s or 4s, and I know it gets a little techie, but I can't stress how much it matters for linebackers, cloudy, clear, playing downhill. Like with if you're playing with a true 4 down with an open side end, like your fits, you can just know. I'll be curious to see how quick guys can respond to trigger, because I think ultimately with true interiors like a 1 and a 3, you can get back to being kind of violent and not having to read near as much. It'll become much more about winning one-on-ones, or at least occupying one-on-ones, which I think ultimately helps the second level first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just going to be different. Like it's just going to be different. I did not think, I mean, and that's like for sure something that you think about more when you're coaching the defense and from the outside looking. But yeah, like did not even think that far on like, okay, yeah, like the linebackers' eyes are going to change with this, but
immediately.
Like, yeah. Like, what would you say? Do you think there's? Because now that I'm thinking about it, it allows you to, at least on paper, if you're a quick, like you can react quicker just off of, like you're mentioning, off of the fact that the gap, like where everyone is, like from a gap standpoint. It's not, you're not asking someone to you're not reacting to what the front is doing in terms of what gap you occupy. It's based on what you do. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think so that it introduces a little bit different of a phenomenon. And this is just me spitballing with a couple of football guys during the segment. If they can shore up the second level, then you get a little more flexibility from your back end. Now a guy, like let's say you want to bring a guy like Donovan Jones and move him back. Let's say, big rangy guy, I want to move him back to like, let's say a field kind of safety role. You're still kind of playing to his strengths a little bit because his fit's cleaned up a lot more as an alley runner or a crease guy than let's say it was a year ago or a year and a half ago where he wasn't comfortable coming from third level down into the box, right? I think you introduce a couple of more guys that if you can be more decisive, you have a true nickel, like the nickel will be the nickel. And your field and boundaries will be field and boundaries. You don't have to have as much adjusting. So you can kind of clean up the roles a lot. Like I want, your interior guys just get to be interior guys, right? You don't have to worry about sliding out and playing 5s, right? I think it'll be a lot cleaner for some guys.
Yeah. I talked about it a little bit with Steve yesterday and on the phone a little bit. Like it could be similar to like, we kind of wrote some guys off when Tony White first got here, of like guys that are like, we like, honestly, like Ty Robinson a little bit of like, well, we've seen what we've needed to see from him. And the defense shifted a little bit. They got a different fresh eyes around him, and he took his game another level. Like, and there were a few others like that, that first and even second year under White. Like, I think there's going to be something like that this year where, again, under the previous system or whatever, it's like you have these guys that are maybe written off, and we're like, okay, well, we've seen everything we need to see from them. We know what they are. And there's just like another level. I think about a Cam Leonard or a Willis McGahee potentially. I think about even like you mentioned Vincent Genatone yesterday, but like, man, like I was really intrigued by like Mario Buford being mentioned in the nickel conversation. Jameer Khan at the top of that. I wasn't sure about Jameer. I think Jameer Khan could was a candidate for that role. I wasn't sure if he was big enough, but was really, really intrigued by the fact that he was the first name that popped up as a name potentially for that nickel role, because that role.
I don't know how many nickels they have on the roster. At first blush, I would think they have Khan, Rio's back in, a guy that wasn't even sure he wanted to stay, right? But Rio and probably Prude, but I don't even know what to do with Prude now.
Yeah, I don't know for sure on him.
The nickel spot it doesn't seem like it has a ton of depth.
Not right now. Yeah, and I think when you look ahead to 27 and how they're recruiting, I'm going to put out the corner board at some point today, but like between the nickels and corner, like they may take like 5 DBs this cycle. And I think they're looking for like depth to add to that nickel room, or like have some flexibility. I mean, they like in terms of I think what Orge ideally wants this nickel role or someone to fill this nickel role to look like is a bigger frame, like 6'1", 6'2" kind of DB that changes directions well, fluid hips, can cover with the best of them, but can also hit, is also versatile enough to hit and come down, and work in the run fit. But right now, how many of those guys are on the roster? I don't know. Like last year, if this staff was here, like they would have probably had Sierra out there potentially sooner than later. Maybe even move Mario or move Marquez in there. I'm curious moving forward about like Danny Odom, because like a Danny Odom is like a very traditional outside corner, not traditional, but like just in the sense that that you want all of those traits at outside corner too. Like he's a bigger frame, he's very fluid, he's really sticky in coverage, but he's also willing to hit. So I think long term he's ultimately better in an outside corner role. I think you can you don't even have to squint to see what that looks like down the line past Nebraska as an outside corner. But I'd be curious if he's open to it at all as he continues to evolve and get bigger. But they're going to add some guys, I think, in this next cycle, or they're looking to add some guys here in this 27 cycle. Juju Johnson here in this 27 cycle, I think someone that can, Bryce Williams is a bigger corner that can cover and can also hit a little bit. So they have some guys on the board here in 27 that can very much fit the role. I mean, Tavares Harrington, I think out of Mount Carmel is going to be a guy that they're really excited about, that they're really looking to make up some ground on Alabama and Georgia here in the next couple months. That's a guy I think I can see fitting that role as well. So they want to add depth to that, and I think it's coming, it's on the way. But they also, I think, for what you need in 26, for what you want that role to look like in 26, I think they have a guy in there just because. I think the nickel, it needs to be emphasized. I think nickel needs to be someone that is leaned upon, of course, but I think Nebraska, specifically in 26, is going to have pretty sound play from everybody else around him. That
100%.
In 26, that guy's not going to be as
critical. Listen, I like Khan too. He showed flashes, but I agree with you. I'm probably more excited for what goes around that spot because it's cleaner. It's just cleaner. Your bullet gets to be the bullet, or not to call them the things. Let's just go field and boundary get to be those guys, and your nickel is your true. It's just, I think it will be a little bit cleaner, which will allow them to hit the ground running faster in terms of install.
Right.
Across the board.
Based on what we learned yesterday, I kind of get the sense this is a top-down defense in terms of how they want things to be. Coverage dictates what they do up front, not the other way around.
I don't know. Maybe you got to always start with your front.
Yeah,
you got to always start with the front. But I do think I could see them probably only playing about 3 coverages this spring.
Yeah, like I'm not like, especially with what they're trying to like. If they're trying to run like
he had me at, it's like Jerry Maguire, right? He had me at split field safeties.
if they're doing split
because
field,
if you can stop the run, I've said this for, I don't know, as long as I've coached. I'm a split safety guy, and people have said for years, oh, you can't stop the run in an odd front with splits. I'm like, yeah, you can. It's how you got to play it. I mean, we've been really good against the run for however many years, and we play a 3 front with split safeties, right? We can establish fits. So when he said that, I know that when they line up, it's going to look a lot alike. Post snap, anything can happen. So as long as they can win one-on-ones with pressure, I think they'll be fine. You don't even have to get home as much as you just have to be disruptive, which is why I think a guy like Manning is critical in coaching the Ochoas and the McGahees and the Pet Shocks potentially, and whomever those edge guys are. Because Ort said something key, you guys. He talked about being in phase at the top of a pressure and then making the play, right? Because how many times have we seen guys around the quarterback? They either can't bend, can't close, can't squeeze the pocket. We see guys around the quarterback, but he doesn't get to the ground. Like, operating in phase at the top of the pressure, I thought was a pretty slick little designation from a higher level thinker.
That comment caught me because that is what this program in particular is missed, but like that is what separates good and not good, but like like the edges that do start to pop. I mean that was
Agreed.
that's what like Prince Will needed, his last season here is someone that could help him at the very top of that. That's what I think guys around, like, think about last year about how many guys like, oh, like Willis McGahee at times, when he's flashed, it's been like, oh, he's just like a hair off. Like, imagine if he just had that.
We see that all the time.
Yeah, like, and so it's the most critical piece, and I think I thought it was very fascinating that Orange trusts Manning that much with that much and thinks that highly of him in that specific regard, because if all of that is true, if Manning is that kind of guy, like, again, I don't think it's like bad first whisperer necessarily just yet. Like, we're not there by any means, but like, how many years of production does Manning have to get before we are to that point, and like like, you look at the guys in Nebraska's edge room now, you look at the guys he had last year at San Diego State, like, you don't have to squint to see someone taking a significant step forward, because there are guys in this room that look like the guys in San Diego State's room that had success last year. That's really important. I think that's going to be really important. Like, it's to the point now where I also think like Manning might be the more like Corey Brown's important and his value is really important, but if this defense takes the like significant step forward this year, it may be Manning that is critical to that more so than Brown, just off of being able to create pressure.
I was telling Ravi, remember this, Ravi, like, just in the brief interaction he had, like day 2, maybe, him being there on a Saturday practice. He's pretty engaging, and he's awful bright, man. He just real charismatic. His opening line was, he said, he's looking around and he said, he's like, how strange has it been in this facility with your logo on the mural up there? And I said, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And he said, well, it's not any, he talked about, he said, it's not any more overwhelming than stepping foot on this campus, knowing what Nebraska's tradition means for me. And I just was like, yep, I'm in. All right, go recruit. I hold your hand, right? It just the way it was just very thoughtful, and it was in kind of this all kind of way where he understood what the task at hand was.
He's been around a bit. He's coached a couple of different positions, and I've heard stories about him from Oklahoma and USC, and it very much felt like a guy that, like, obviously has some talent on the recruiting trail, but on the field, was trying to find where he fit. Like clearly has something to him, but they're trying to find where he fits. I think he started to find his home a little bit with pass rushes. I think it really started to click for him at USC, and I think it's really starting to come along now in terms of, I think this is the role he's comfortable with, the position group he's most comfortable with, and I think it's the group he gets the most out of. So I think we're still trying to figure out, like in this 27 class too, like who are the edges he likes, who's he really after. He's got all kinds of different body types on it. Like he offered a two-sport basketball kid that's like 6'8", 240, or like 6'8", 260, you know what I mean? And then he went down to Texas and offered a Dwayne Brown's kid who's 6'2", 260. You could play all over you know what I mean? Like play anywhere. Like he's all over the place, and I don't think he has like a specific body type he's looking for. So I'm going to be excited. Like next time, the first time we get to talk to him, I want to ask him like what traits he looks for, because I would say, sometimes you look at edge rushing coaches and you see, okay, well, even if they're all different body types looking, they all have some bend to them. He's not specifically looking for like bendy pass rushers. Like there's a couple guys on this board that are kind of stiff, that are kind of just straight, like set the edge, like run through your face kind of pass rusher. Like they can't
they need those guys on the close side too, right? Like
right, like you need those guys too. But like I'm really curious to see like what exactly are the traits he's looking for, because it's clearly he doesn't have a type. He's kind of comfortable with working with all kinds of edges.
Tim, as we're talking about some of these guys, different spots, McGahee's come up a couple times. We're talking about second level. I think of Vincent Shavers a lot. If I gave you these three guys, I gave you Shavers, McGahee, and Winari, or I gave you the field, which one of those to you is the guy that you expect to be most important with what we've learned briefly about Rob Orch's defense, what you've seen from his defenses in the past? Like, which one of those guys would you say, hey, if that guy can pop, I really like his chances? Or would you take somebody besides one of those three?
Well, I think if one of these guys, I think unfortunately just off the traits alone, like if one of those guys pops, it's Winari. Like it's like just what that type of person and player popping would mean for this defense. I think that's the one. But that said, I'm really curious about Willis McGahee and even like a Vincent Shavers in that kind of Ryan Henderson role from last year. And I thought Ryan Henderson was the guy that Orich moved around a good bit. That was really important to the front, really important to not just how they got after the quarterback, but how they fit the run. And so I think bar none, if like one of these guys, if the question is if one of these guys like pops and takes a significant step forward, who has the most impact, it's Winari by far. But like all things the same, and just like you're moving to a new defense and you're trying to fit in some of these new roles, who plays that kind of Ryan Henderson kind of role, whether that's one of those two guys, whether it's even like they do something to Cam Leonard's body and get him back to, they kind of trim him down a little bit to be more versatile. Potentially he's another one that I'm like, okay, maybe, but I think more so it's a Shavers or McGahee that kind of fails that kind of role. And I think with Shavers in particular, just the versatility of being able to be that third linebacker when they're in base, and even drop down and rush the passer at times as well. I think he's the guy I would look at, but I don't know. What would you all say?
I don't know. Of those three, I think Winari has the most upside, but they got to have some guys that are pretty excited just to be playing. I feel like we've been talking about him the last couple of weeks with this defense, but Dylan Rogers, Ochoa, Winari, McGahee, some of these guys now, depending on whether they're to the strong or the weak side, they've all got new life. But Winari, in my opinion, is probably the most is probably the most naturally gifted of the bunch.
Yeah, like I would say just in general, are you all putting numbers on what you're expecting from individuals in the room, or what you're expecting from the room in general? Because I have it on the room.
I just think the room in general. You just introduce depth and physicality just by the firming up of the position alone.
Yeah, I would agree. And yeah, like I would hope again on top of what they have at edge, like okay, like Jasir Whittington's getting to the backfield a good bit. Like Riley Van Poppel finds his way back there. Dylan Berriman from time to time. Malcolm Simpson, like they're getting interior pressure as well. But yeah, I think you want that room. They had 20. Roy Manning's edges had 23 sacks last year. Like you're looking for that this year from that group of guys.
Tim, we appreciate the time as always. Great stuff, and try and stay warm out there until Nebraska changes its mind and has it be 70 degrees again. Appreciate it as always, Tim.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, TV.
That's Tim VERGHESE from Inside Nebraska. Good stuff there from Tim as always. I do find a lot of what the coaches said yesterday fascinating. DB. Do you want to get into the special teams comment that Coach Rhule made?
Yeah. Do we have that? Do we have the clip?
Shane, do we have the make a name for yourself clip? I didn't see. I couldn't tell which one it might have been from the list you sent. Let me see here. Let's see.
You can't really do it justice without the clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it might be try Rule 10.
I think the biggest thing about special teams wise is we liked some of the progress that we made last year, and I liked the system, and I liked the teaching progressions, and I liked the day-to-day transferable skills that blend over. And so I thought Coach Ekeler did a great job of bringing that here. And then when he made the decision to move on, I didn't want to start over with a third special team system. I kind of like what we were doing, and I'll start with Nick. Nick's obviously played in it. He's coached in it. He knows it. I think he's a really special young coach that's going to have a lot of success. And Brett, first and foremost, he loves Nebraska. And he's not here to make a name for himself. He's here to help Nick probably someday become the coordinator, and he's here to help Nebraska. And so they can continue the system. And you look at what Brett's done, even since he's been here, in his first year, Johnny was, really struggled early as the kicking coach, and as Brett worked with him, whether it was making 250-plus yarders at Ohio State or making 8 of his last 9. And we had some snapper issues, and we went out and got Aiden Flegge off the general population of campus. And Brett working with those specials, he got better and better and better.
That's good, Shane.
This year, Kyle Cunanan.
So the part obviously that I was talking about was the Brett Maher part. I thought that was a really interesting. I thought it was a really interesting time to kind of make that comment of not being here to make a name for himself and maybe getting ready to help the other guy be the special teams coordinator at some point. Yeah. Nick, am I reading too much into that, DB? Like I don't know. I heard that.
No, but I don't think that was listen, I get it. I mean, you're a pound of flesh guy and you're perceptive. I mean, there's no doubt that I think that ultimately rubbed Coach Rhule the wrong way. That it seems like Coach Eck to him was more about Coach Eck than he was the University of Nebraska. That was just kind of a theme with him this offseason about guys that say that they want to be here and they're for Nebraska, are actually for Nebraska. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he's just passionate about that. And I sometimes I almost don't think he can help himself. And I don't really care if he does or he doesn't, to be honest. Right. I mean, he's a guy and it's just part of his character traits. He's a guy that I think, he loved this place before it was cool to love it again for guys coming in. And it's how he recruited. It's how he held his recruits. Hey, either you want to be here or you don't. Either you want to come camp here or you don't. And so he's just been consistent with that. It's not just a Coach Ekeler thing to get it isolated. He wants everybody to think that the university is capable. He's ran guys off that didn't believe in Nebraska. Right? Like, don't talk bad about this place and stop and about what people can't do. Like, we're going to take some criticisms and we're going to take it on the chin, but you better be all in on this place or you got to find something else different to do. So I think Ekeler just happens to be one of those guys that's fallen in kind of that same vein in his rise, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent, because we don't get Coach X's side of it. But when you come across as a guy that it's more about you than the place you're at, then I just think it's ultimately going to be a problem.
I mean, I know we don't get Coach X's side of it, but like we do kind of know, right? Like, assuming Coach Rhule is telling us the truth about the extension offer, like he had a chance to be here and he chose not to, right? Like that's like, maybe we don't get the details, but like he was given the opportunity to be at, like, if he wanted to be at Nebraska and do the thing he does really well and make a lot of money doing it, probably more than anybody else or the top couple people in the country. Like if he wanted that and wanted to be at about the University of Nebraska, like that was all on the table for him, you know? So I don't know, you know, I don't know how much we need to hear from Coach Eck in that situation. Like, maybe that's just me being petty, but like it feels like we have enough circumstantial evidence to understand how he felt about the place. And this isn't just a Coach Eck thing, right? You brought up a really good point. This has been what Coach Rhule's been about since he got here. You know, I know when he was recruiting high school kids that first year, right? And he's like, hey, like, come get us now, because when we get good and you might want to come back around, I don't know if I got a spot for you, right? Like that was a theme early, and it's been a theme with, you know, retaining guys or recruiting guys or whatever it's been. So I can appreciate the consistency of, hey, either be about Nebraska or don't, but don't say you're about Nebraska and then not be.
Right.
And I think that's the big thing for me.
So, I mean, along those same veins, though, it's like I just don't think we can be bothered that the recruiting goes that way either, or the staff goes that way, because I just think this is the kind of year where he's got to put his money where his mouth is, and he just needs to make sure that he knows that you're all in. Doesn't matter. Like, again, X going to be the casualty this time. But he's just taking some shots, right? He understands what comes with this job as the head coach. He's taken some shots. It's been a tough offseason, and it was a tough last third of the year. So I think he's just further insulating himself with guys that are going to get in the trenches with him. I can't stress that enough. Like, this is about guys that are going to be all in and want to come get in the foxhole, for lack of a better term, because I know this isn't war, but for lack of a better term, in terms of what he's after to help build this thing the right way.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, I appreciate that about him a ton. Like, however this ends up going, I keep thinking you're gonna make fun of me because I try not to make everything about Darren Peterson, but like, it's the thing that I look at and the thing that honestly bothers me the most when I look at a Darren Peterson, or I look at some of these super high profile guys, whether it's in football, basketball, whatever. And I go, clearly Darren Peterson's not bought into what's going on at Kansas, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's more about Darren Peterson than he is about the Jayhawks. I get it. He's going to be a super high draft pick. Like, it's an understandable position to take if you're Darren Peterson. But if you're Kansas and you're a Kansas fan and you're Bill Self, you don't have to accept his position, right? Like, you don't have to accept and be like, hey, we understand where you're coming from, but this isn't for us. Like, that's not a good thing for us right now. And maybe, obviously, Kansas basketball is in a very different spot than Nebraska football currently. So maybe they can withstand some of that to a better degree. And we've seen them withstand it to a better degree than Nebraska probably has been able to over the last few years. But like, the more and more I see this stuff, the more I'm like, okay, give me guys that work their ass off, that are 100% bought in, and that care about the place they're at. And as long as we've got some bare minimum of athleticism, I'll take my chances. Because I swear to God, I think that's the secret sauce of Curt Cignetti, is he just found guys that, like, yeah, they had a bare minimum level, at least, of athleticism, especially last year. But like, the buy-in is off the charts. The belief is off the charts. The desire to be at Indiana is off the charts. Like, those are the things that I keep thinking about that are non-negotiables. The physical stuff keeps falling further and further down the list for me. Now, obviously, you can't go too far down the list physically. Otherwise, you're just not there. But,
Yeah.
I mean, use Iowa, use Indiana, use Wisconsin. Whoever, that to me has been the missing ingredient at Nebraska forever, is just guys that care more than everyone else and guys that want to be here more than everybody else. If we can get that part figured out, I will take my chances with the talent.
Yeah. Hey guys, play the. I just want to get to something real quick along those lines, because I think, you talked about you can't really, or Tim was talking about, you can't just come in and replicate what Cignetti does. And I've always called him kind of one of one. I said, but there's some things within his protocol of the non-negotiables that I think you can replicate. Guys, roll the clip about the infamous practice structure that do we think teams can replicate?
I don't know. I'm a little different than a lot of guys. I don't practice a long time. I'm a 25-minute walkthrough guy on Monday and Friday, and we're about an hour 30 to an hour 40 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, helmet, shoulder pad. So the one thing I would say is we're pretty efficient in everything we do. Like, we don't waste time when we're here. We're working.
So you don't get that without trust. You don't just get to fast forward to like those kinds of practices or whatever. Guys have to believe that the method works and that you're for them, but it starts with getting those people in the building. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think identifying those people is probably the hardest, the biggest challenge.
Well, it's the number one thing. It's like, and that's where he has to start. And I get it. It's year 4, and it's not the way that you've chosen to go. But what you hear is that they're just dialed into that now. It's not going to be this, hey, we're going to try to win you over with, what we say or be super, outward and laughy. Like, we're getting down to business, right? It doesn't matter. We've tried it the other way. You guys didn't buy it. We didn't win enough. So we're gonna put our heads down. We may sound like we're friendly one day in a press conference. We may sound like we're not. Guess what? Doesn't matter. We know it doesn't matter. I can come in and be this eloquent spokesperson, and I can tell a bunch of jokes, and I can hold court, and I can roll out my coordinators, and they can say all these great things. But guess what? You guys don't care. And if you don't care, then we're just going to make this about football anyway. Like, it's fine. You're not wrong for drumming it down to just the nuts and bolts, but you're going to get nuts and bolts. They have totally recalibrated. They're just not going to waste energy on things that they can't control. And I'm here for it. We'll just see how it goes. The pressers yesterday weren't all rainbows and butterflies, right? It was business. This isn't a rainbows and butterflies kind of season. I am here for it, and I think they're locked.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, I think, and listen, I'll be honest, a lot of the PR stuff works on me. I like when guys talk a certain way. You know that about me. Like, yeah. I like when guys kind of wax poetic a little bit. I like when they let you peek behind the curtain into the philosophy of how they think and how they want to run things. Like, I like all that stuff. I like the psychology of sports a lot. I also understand that being eloquent and having the best PR in the world doesn't give you any leeway when you don't win enough. It probably gives you less because people get annoyed, right? How many times have we heard over the offseason, like, well, they said this and they said that and whatever else, right? It probably buys you even less leeway when you do say things, no matter how, eloquent those things are. And so I get it. I get the move. The funny thing is I don't know that they're any more about football than they have been in the past. I think they've always been about the football.
Zero question.
And that's the funny part, right? Is because I believed they were all about the football all along. I just got the extra stuff, which I like.
Yeah, they tried to play nice along the way because it plays well with the media and the fan base. But nobody wins unless the team actually wins. Fans that don't like the results, they blame the media for setting the expectation. Media then kind of is like, well, I'm going to take this kind of stance because it doesn't matter if we try to frame it this way. It ultimately matters. So everybody negotiates the information everybody else wants to receive. And all anybody really cares about is winning. So if all anybody really cares about is winning, then just focus on winning. Like this has become the natural byproduct of the toxicity of the last, 12 years of not winning meaningful football games. It's just what this has evolved to, and I think we just have to be mature enough to handle it.
Yeah, and I honestly, some coaches probably prefer it. They're like, "Oh, we don't have to do all the other stuff. We don't have to do all the PR stuff. We can just go coach football." I do think there's a lot of guys that probably prefer that, even if even if I don't get as much press conference love.
I want to take a quick break. Shane, give me a couple minutes. Let the guys get these photos set. I want to make sure going forward that we're talking about the same thing with the 4-2-5. I'll give you the base alignments and what I mean, the difference between split safeties and not. So going forward, you guys kind of have this locked in your head. If we talk a little too much football, I just need a couple minutes. Take a break. Make sure those guys are ready to go. Ravi, we'll come back in a couple of minutes right before we get to SAUTTER and take another quickie, if that makes sense. So we'll take 2 breaks in the next 5 minutes and make sure these guys are ready to go.
Yep, let's do it. We'll be right back.
Yeah, with the roster turnover that now happens in college football, with the amount of players that come in the portal, with the amount high school kids now enrolling early, we felt like our school calendar moved up a week, so we started on the 10th as opposed to most years we started on Martin Luther King Day, Monday. So because we had an extra week on the front end, we wanted to lift for 6 weeks, but we wanted to get all these players really mainstreamed into the football. We wanted, we didn't want to go 8-9 weeks of them not being around their coaches, so we wanted to get into the fundamentals of football, kind of see what we have, and then really still have on the back end, because of our school year now, 6 or 7 weeks of training afterwards. So we thought it'd be a great way to install, kind of what we want to do offensively, defensively, and special teams. Really let the guys see where they are football wise, and then have a chance to continue training after that.
This year, it just makes it so much easier on me because I know there's a bunch of guys that take responsibility for their own work, kind of like what we're saying with the offensive stuff. And I don't have to worry about, making sure a guy's locked in or doing the right thing because everybody's taking care of their job, their role, and buying into that. And so for me, I can show up each and every day and just be loose and free and trust that guys are supporting me and I can support them. And having college baseball experience underneath my belt definitely helps, but having these guys in the locker room and even the pitchers backing up our offense just allows us to go out there and be free, and allows me to show up and say the right things and continue to just hold the standard.
It's been a good process, just embracing the new guys in the room, embracing Coach Jeep, embracing Coach Teasley, just trusting that Coach Rhule is going to lead us in the right direction of who he's bringing in, because Coach Rhule is a smart person, we all know. So I'm going to trust him on that, and we're just going to build this brotherhood even tighter. Honestly, just the guys on this team. Like, I love everybody on the team, and I know that being that this is my last year, I know I can give it my all for them, and I know that we're headed in the right direction, whether it's just getting 1% better and leading the team. I think I've done a good job at that, but just I'm doing it for the team. Like, I know the guys need me and I need them.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla, and DB wanted to get to some 4-2-5 stuff right here. So which one do you want first, DB?
Just real quick, play. Yep, there we go. I don't know if we can. We're gonna try to blow this up a little bit, but you see, this is kind of a base 4-2-5 alignment. You see the 2 DNs, the strong side, and the mic in the middle. But I think you got to pay closer attention to the techniques when I talk. So if you see the TGCGT, that's just tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle. Okay. Head up on the center would be a 0. Where that nose is, that's a 1. The gaps are odds, head ups are even. So right now, this is showing the nose is in a 1, the tackle is in a 3, the defensive tackle and the 2 ends are in like a 6, a 5, and like what would be a 6-eye if there was a tight end. So when I say split safeties, you see the FS and the strong safety. That is split field safeties with a 4 down front. You see the NI, that's the nickel. So that NI that's to the right of the screen that says nickel, he's got to be able to not only cover and run with number 3s sometimes or 2s, he also has to be able to fit in the run game, because the nickel a lot of times will be on the second level, if that makes sense. Guys, pull up the Georgia picture. That'll give you a practical application of it. All right. See, they're playing with a 1 and a 3, the 2 interior guys. You see the 2 ends. 1 is in the stand-up. Orich did like to say he likes to stand this guy up. And some people may say, oh, Nebraska did that last year. Well, it looked the same, but it's not going to play the same, because this guy is a 4th D lineman. He has D line principles. That means your ends are primarily trying to get after the passer after they set the edge. That is a huge distinction, even though it may look a little similar to what Nebraska did this year. It's not the same, right? Your 1 and your 3 occupy inside. Those are your 2 insides. Now, if it's not a split field safety, guys, pull up the 3rd pick if you could, please. How many safeties do you see deep, Ravi?
Just the 1, the free safety, I believe.
Just 1. So when they roll down and just play 1 high, that's the difference of what I'm trying to say. But if you pay attention to the techniques, the front changed or didn't change?
Front didn't change.
Front did not change. How you played on the second level changed versus who you got into the box. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we've got, so the R is basically my strong safety. That's my rover.
Yep, he's now your rover.
Okay. And then my S is the other safety. That's my nickel.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, I mean, it gives you the versatility on the 2nd and 3rd levels instead of the 1st and 2nd levels. Am I understanding that basically correctly?
But your front has to get busy. So if you blow that up and you read the techniques like the 5, the 1, the 3, and the 6-eye, those guys have a role to do. Okay, those guys definitely have a role to do. That's just the difference between what the back end does, but the front is still kind of remaining the same. Because Orich said, yeah, pre-snap, we may look pretty similar a lot, but what we can do post-snap is where we have some luxury.
So when I think of nickel, and then we'll get to Mike here in just a minute. When I think of nickel, I think of, and tell me if I'm right or wrong here, my initial thought goes to Eric Hegg. Is that the type of player we're talking about?
Yeah, that's the kind of guy you're looking for.
Okay.
That's the type of guy you're looking for.
Okay. And similar responsibilities to what he was asked to do. I know the defense was different, but responsibility.
Yeah, and the cool thing about using Hegg is Bo liked to use a lot of bracket coverage.
Yeah.
Right. He played a lot, and you heard, I think you did. I hope I'm not.
He talked about brackets, or talked about brackets.
All right. Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm not
quit leaking stuff.
And that you can play some a lot of bracket coverage with that front playing with a nickel. So yes, indeed.
All right, let's take a quick break here, and then we'll get to Mike Sautter. A lot going on with state wrestling and everything else, and basketball.
Hope that helps, guys.
winding down. That's good stuff. We'll get into more of that as we go through the spring as well, because I do think there is a lot of confusion about how a 4-2-5 is different from a 3-3-5. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with Mike Sautter.
Yeah, coming here has been pretty simple. I grew up in Michigan. I coached at South Dakota, went to school in Duluth. So, being back in this region is old hat. This is where we come from. And so my daughters actually started school yesterday at Wysong Elementary down there in southeast Lincoln. So we're home. We're settled. Talking about the workplace, man, it's been great. It's been great. I think that's what Coach Rhule does a great job of. It's a really transparent, authentic environment. And so stepping onto this surface and this platform, it's been fun to get going.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We are joined now by Mike Sautter from Hurrdat Sports and NEB Preps. If the cameras cooperate, we're loading here.
We're just loading. Oh, come on, Jerome. He was in
spinning wheel.
I can see him in the green room.
All right, let's try and toss him back in here, guys.
Let's try to bring old Jerome back.
Maybe.
Bring Jerome back.
Don't you come back no more, no more, no more. That one? That what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's a Jim Croce.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe that's Jim Croce.
Doesn't seem very Jim Croce-esque.
Yeah, hit the road, Jack, I believe. Oh, we had him for a second.
Hey, Jerome. Oh, Jerome's on the move, too. You got to get... Wait, are you leaving already, Jerome?
Hello.
Hi.
Are we... Oh, he's scooping. Are you scooping?
Hell yeah.
This dude is doing his segment, getting out of the snow.
Yeah,
it's a monster out there, though, isn't it?
Look, dog.
I hope this works.
We're good over here.
Oh, you did knock that out.
Hold on.
Look, you feeling pretty good now?
Hold on, wait a second. What'd you say? Sorry.
Are you feeling pretty good now?
Yeah, I gotta do my neighbor right there. She's a widow, so I have to do hers next, and then I gotta be in Lincoln by 11. So.
I know. I heard you got a hard out at 9:25.
Yeah, I gotta roll in here today. Feels good to just be a man and shovel some snow.
Dude, you're hilarious. Hey, so how are you feeling so far? I know this is one of your best state events. Girls, obviously, for me personally, was super exciting with what happened with wrestling there, especially in Class A. But what are you thinking so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always fun. I enjoy state wrestling. It's my Friday night tonight is the best night of any state event that the NSA puts on. That's my opinion. I've been to literally all of them: golf, diving, swimming, ball.
Uh-oh. I think we lost him. We lost you, Jerome. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, he might be coming back to us.
I'm right here.
There he is.
Hey, I
don't really worry about you with technology. You can do a report from anywhere.
I'm surprised you got on here today.
Wow. All right.
It's gonna be like that, huh?
I'm just saying. Mr. Technology over there. Green dot phone guy.
Wow. Good talk. So we usually talk to Higgy. We didn't get a chance to talk to him. The week snuck up on me, so that's my fault. But how about instant replay, man? Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I've seen it. Obviously been to Fargo, and they have it in freestyle. It does take a little bit of time, and this is for Nebraska. Talking about state wrestling instant replay, coach's challenge, right? Like you throw a brick.
Throw the brick.
Yeah, and so it's only for the championship matches and only one. So you can't just keep doing it. And it is a test. The NFHS, which is the National Federation, is allowing Nebraska to be the test for it. And so we'll see how it goes. It's kind of cool. Obviously, Ron has connections to get that pulled off. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm kind of excited for it. I think it shouldn't be a big issue. It should only take a couple minutes. You have a referee. You have a referee sitting there watching the replay, so it should be fine.
Mike, what's the highlight for you? You said it's your favorite night of anything the NSAA does. What are some of the highlights going to be tonight?
Well, one, it's a packed house. Like, it's sold out. There's standing room only tickets still available. They won't deny anyone a ticket if you want to buy one for state wrestling semifinals. So it's sold out. That and just the middle mats are the semis, right? Like A has one, B has one, C has one, D has one. And then the side mats are the consolation rounds. And just, being in that moment myself personally back in high school, the blood round thing, man, you lose, you are devastated. So kids are fighting for their life. And, I lost in that. So, yeah, it's that is what it is. And the excitement and just all the emotions of everything, it's kind of fun. And there should be some good matchups. There's always is.
Jerome, if you're talking about like flip-flopping between, the tail end, you've got districts that have got to go on that are pretty important for scheduling. You got to get these last couple of games in at the high school level for basketball so districts can be set too. You think coaches are feeling the pinch or they just kind of have a good idea of where they're going to be, even though the official district pairings haven't been set yet?
I think at this point there's enough math teachers and people that know the system that they kind of know where they're at, right? If not, Faux Woodard can get it done for you. So that's something. My children are now coming outside. I think they're going to go sledding at the park, so this should be fun.
Yeah, it's a weird 15 degrees. Does it feel 15?
Nah, not if
it feels warmer than 15 degrees.
Hey, Leighton, you look bundled up.
She is so cute. I'm glad she looks like her mom. Goodness.
Well, she actually looks like me, and my youngest looks like her.
That had wifey vibes all over. Maybe it was no.
Yeah.
So
Leighton, why don't you just wear a hat like a real person instead of like a?
Says the guy that's got the clean, slick head with no hat on, right?
Okay.
You're kind of out there, buddy.
Did you hear what I said?
No, what?
I said, Leighton, why don't you wear a hat, like a knit hat, like a real person? And then I looked at her, I go, we're not rich. Where you got the little cute little ear thingy, whatever. Just put that hat on.
Yeah, not urban enough for you, Jerome?
Correct.
I got you. What are you looking for? What are you looking forward to tonight in terms of individual matchups? First of all, what time are you getting there to beat the 6 o'clock Pat Gate?
Well, I'm gonna obviously go to Lincoln for Hoiberg availability at that starts at 10:55, and then probably just head straight there and be there for some of the consolations, wrestleback stuff.
Yeah,
just so I'm there.
Anything you're looking forward to tonight in terms of matchups?
Not really. I think all the best guys are. Is that a cat? It's a frozen cat, Ravi. Your cat.
No, that's Ravi's dumb cat potato.
No, I don't think so. All the guys that are supposed to win, I think, should win. So all the guys that should win, I think, are gonna win. So that's just
wow. Really?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't roll yesterday. So for example, like Ben Ziola, Riley Johnson, Tyler Harrell for Scott, like those are some of the bigger names, and they won, but they weren't like super great in their quarterfinal matches. So I think tonight they'll be pretty locked in. And prep is like, my God, like what are we doing? The only thing that we're thinking about prep right now is like, can they get to 260.5 and beat Millard South's team scoring record?
I was going to say scoring record may be in jeopardy, and they're well aware of it. They're well aware of the 260.
I have no.
Well, that's your. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. It keeps freezing up. Probably
Well,
'cause
I said prep is well aware of the 260 points.
very well aware. They are very locked in on that number, I would say.
That's
They need some
absurd.
pins,
That's
they need some
absurd,
bonus
you know.
points coming up here. But yeah.
Again, you guys remember once upon a time when you could win a state championship with like 108 points?
Yeah, that's not. Well, I don't know. Class C might be right around there, like about 115 or something. Battle Creek's really had a good day yesterday. So, and we'll see in D, Plainview, Aquinas. Those are two of the teams in D, but A and B, it's a wrap.
Yeah, you gonna watch my guy Parker Zickman tonight?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'll try and find him. So
He's a long, lean drink of water, isn't he?
I know it's kind of weird. Us people that are a little taller and skinny can be actually effective at wrestling. It's weird.
Were you good? I'm just playing.
I made the state. Hey man,
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
That's no slouch right there.
I am not. I respect all wrestlers. What do you how do you expect Coach Hoiberg's demeanor to be in Lincoln today? A little more of the Aaron Rodgers relax, or you think he's gonna still be a little surly from how the folks in Iowa City treated him?
I think he's probably gonna be like less relaxed. But I think I can almost guarantee you their practice yesterday was probably not easy. I'm guessing there was some toughness and stuff like that conversations because Iowa punched.
I dropped that in the stream and I was a little reluctant.
So
I dropped that in the stream and I was a little reluctant because the former athlete in me doesn't like to throw around the toughness word, but they clearly do need to get a lot tougher, right? I mean, they're getting out physical a lot with what happens in rebounding and stuff.
Can't hear.
Oh, man.
What'd you say? Sorry.
I said I hate to throw the toughness word around, but I dropped it in the stream yesterday post their performance, and it's like that's the only word I can come up with. They got to get tougher.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and it's weird because like that was when they were on that 21-game win streak. That was what was getting them by. And now I think people maybe figured it out a little bit, like with some like. Now I will say, hey, like the clutching, grabbing, holding stuff, like you just got to fight through that stuff if they're not going to call it. So, yeah, I mean, they got to get tougher. They got to be tougher. Rebounding, that's just a thing, right? Like that's just going to be a thing. With them, they're just not the most athletic team, obviously. When you talk about natural length and athleticism, I'm not saying they're not athletes because they absolutely are. But I'm just saying there's just the toughness thing is a thing. It's particularly rebounding. You got to hit first. Fred says it all the time, and Iowa hit first for majority of the game, to be honest.
Mike, with high school hoops here coming up, I know a lot else going on in terms of state wrestling, Nebraska basketball. Are there any matchups that you're particularly interested in tonight? It looks like there's a couple good ones in Class B, whether it's Scott with Aurora or Elkhorn North and Donovan Trumbull going kind of cross class there. What are you looking at tonight?
Yeah, the Scott Aurora matchup's interesting. Aurora coming in. They were supposed to play last night. I was supposed to be there last night for my game of the week thing. Then it got moved to today at 6:30. So Millard North, Papio South, I believe, is tonight too. That one, both teams on a heater. Donovan Trumbull would do them well to find a way to beat Elkhorn North tonight. They lost last week at the Heartland Hoops Classic, so Elkhorn North's playing pretty well too. So it's those are probably the key matchups I think of the weekend, if you will.
Hey, does Millard South North Star seem a little trappy to you?
Yeah, that's another one too. Yeah, a little bit because just the way Millard South likes to just play, like they play pickup, man. That's what it feels like watching them.
Yeah, I mean Myers, he's shooting that thing.
Yeah, I mean it feels that way, and North Star wants to get up in you and pressure you. So we'll see if Millard South can handle that pressure, on ball pressure type of stuff tonight.
Is there anything this weekend for? I'll switch back to Nebraska ball. Sorry, to bounce around a little bit here. Sorry. Is there anything this weekend? We mentioned the toughness and the rebounding, things like that. Is there anything else you're looking for? I mean, obviously, Frager hasn't played his best since he came back. There's the ring mass issues, whether you think it's the scoring or the initiating. Like, what's something else before the end of the season you'd really like Nebraska to clean up?
They got to get Frager going again. Like, he's so key to what they're doing. And if you're only going to play 7 guys, and he's one of them, you rely on his scoring off the bench and his kind of energy and athleticism and stuff. I mean, there was a couple times Iowa just olayed him on the defensive end, and or I guess reverse of that. Sorry. He's got to be better. Like, flat out, he's got to be better. I just got hit with a snowball, by the way. So just got hit with a snowball in the back from one of my kids. And Mast, I don't know if just the grind. So there is something to be said here. So there's a freshman wall, right? But there also may be like a older guy wall, not sure what you're gonna be doing next, right? Like, maybe you're overcompensating, trying to I got to do this, I got to be better. And Rink's such a great guy. Gosh, he's awesome. So I don't think that's an issue with him. It's just physically, is he starting to wear down a little bit? And he's in great shape. He's physically one of the strongest people I think I've ever shook hands with. So I think they'll be fine. Okay, Penn State, feel bad for the Nittany Lions coming into Lincoln tomorrow, because I think they're in for something, right? I think Nebraska's going to be really, as Fred likes to say, on point. And then Maryland should get that dub.
It'd be nice if they got off to a good start for once.
Yeah, and that's something Fred's talked about for years now, is we have to get off to a good start. And they just need to bury him early, right? Just get it over with.
This has all the makings of Price having 9 in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, something just real, just game's over after the first 4, right? You get to that under 16 and it's okay, how much is this going to be by? Penn State does pressure you though. Their on-ball pressure is pretty good, so they're not bad there. We'll see the Eli Rice revenge game. He's at Penn State now, which good luck, bud. I didn't. So, it's Penn State, Maryland, and then you have, then you go on the road for that LA trip, and obviously UCLA is a train wreck right now because their coach is a psycho. So you have that, and then I guess maybe if you split that, you still feel pretty good. There is a chance you win both too, and then Iowa to finish out the season. And Iowa to finish out the season is after what happened on Tuesday. I'm pretty sure the Hawkeyes have the Huskers' full attention. I think that there won't be any overlooking or any of that stuff that was maybe talked about on Tuesday night.
Oh, good. Yeah, good point.
Mike, what did you think? I mean, let's talk about the post game, in game, whichever part of it you'd like to talk about with Iowa. And sort of obviously the Fred Hoiberg clip gets all the attention, right? But there was a lot going on there, not just the Fred Hoiberg of it all. What did you make of that whole situation that seemed to get pretty nasty in a hurry?
Yeah, Iowa wasn't ready. Iowa was not from a
logistics protocol standpoint.
Yeah, security staff protocol stuff. They were not ready. They weren't lined up. You could see this. I mean, I was there. Mm-hmm. You could see the students start coming down. And getting ready to line up. There was no security starting to line up. Mm-hmm. There wasn't. And they got on the court the security in that video. By the way, I'm the one that shot that from my seat that got ripped by the college basketball whatever fake guy thing. So that whatever that was. So I didn't even see the Fred thing at first. I was just I'm going to get a court storm video, whatever, no big deal. And then I went back and looked at it after the fact. So I would just from a security standpoint, they weren't ready. They weren't lined up. They weren't there. You can see as Fred is almost done, or the team's almost done in the handshake line. If you watch the full video, the blue shirts are just coming on the court. They should have been having the rope out, having everything. And the kid that came, got in Fred's face, he came from behind the scorer's table. You should have security lined up there. That handshake line in those moments should be absolutely protected. And it was not at all. Now, does that excuse, Fred taking a swipe at a phone? No. But at the same time, like, I'd be kind of pissed too, right? Like, kid just jumps, like, not supposed to be there. Kid just jumps in my face. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, he could have, I don't know, like, could be something else. Could be not a phone. And if you know Fred, if you've heard Fred in press conferences and stuff, I don't think he's a real big fan of, like, the whole kids on phones all the time, because he's brought it up a lot. And so that was kind of something too, maybe. I don't know. At this point, I think it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
I think let's move on. I'm sure Fred will address it today, and just move on with our lives. Two things can be right? In situations, two things can be right. Iowa, from a logistics standpoint, messed up, wasn't ready, and Fred probably shouldn't have hit the kid's phone, right? Two things can be correct.
I've got a new headline for that whole scenario. Nebraska coach helps college students reduce screen time. That's all I saw.
There you go. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Hey, Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Jerome, real quick. I know you got to get going.
Yeah.
More important to shore up, tightening that defense up again, because it was pretty good in Iowa City. So I'm not. So maybe more how you rebound out of it. I'll be specific there, or getting Frager's offense going again, because maybe you can't get both going with him on the floor. I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe it doesn't seem like it so far. Which needs to happen quicker?
Yeah, I think the rebounding thing is a bigger deal, and guards got to do a better job of rebounding down.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Defense has been good. It's still top 10 defense in the country. The offensive efficiency isn't there because the offensive rebounding is not there. Like if the rebounding and offensive rebounding were there, their offensive efficiency would be a top 20 offense in the country too. I mean, listen, Nebraska's losses, none of them are bad losses. Like, they don't have a dud. So like it's okay. Like they're fine. They're still in that 3-4 seed kind of realm, and I think that's where they end up at the end of the day.
That's Mike Sautter, Hurrdat Sports, NAB Preps. Mike, appreciate the time. Get down to Lincoln so you can talk to Fred. And glad you got your driveway done first. That's good.
Yeah, look at it. Look at this driveway.
Let's see what we got here. It's immaculate.
Oh, that's crisp.
Look at that.
Yeah, you guys know how I like to mow my yard.
Yeah. Dude's weird, man.
I assume the same level of diligence goes
now.
Into
Now look what's happening. Now look what's happening. Now look what's happening. I just did this. Look at what's happening. Throwing snow all over the driveway. I just did this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this big pile of snow. I literally just did this. What are we doing out here? We are throwing snow all over the driveway right here.
I know deep down you're losing your mind. Don't even kid yourself.
What are we doing?
I don't think it's that deep down, DB.
Oh no, man! It's like this dude might have an aneurysm.
Holy you guys! I just cleaned that up.
Oh Lord! All right, Jerome.
All right,
you're gonna have a meltdown. I don't want to see it.
All right.
See you, Mike.
Bye.
That's Mike Sautter from Hurrdat Sports.
That was getting ready to be a disaster.
Oh yeah, you could tell he was keeping that from bubbling as much as he could. But I think the more he looked at the mess they were making on his freshly scooped driveway, the worse it was getting.
Hey, before we take a quick break, can I test our guys real quick?
Yeah.
You think they can do both pictures side by side of the 4.25 without the Georgia pick, just the base 4.25 and then rolling down out of it?
I'm sure they can. Let's give them a chance during the break to get it oriented and then run
I just like to see if Action Jackson can show off.
Okay. It sounds like they might.
I'll take.
Sounds like they might not be able to, but we'll see.
He said, "No, we can't."
I'm not sure StreamYard will let them put both up at the same time. All right, so let's take a quick break here, and I actually have an idea. I might be able to help here, so we'll see if we can get that figured out, and we'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, coming here has been pretty simple. I grew up in Michigan. I coached at South Dakota, went to school in Duluth. So being back in this region is old hat. This is where we come from. And so my daughters actually started school yesterday at Wysong Elementary down there in southeast Lincoln. So we're home, we're settled. Talking about the workplace, man, it's been great. It's been great. I think that's what Coach Rhule does a great job of. It's a really transparent, authentic environment. And so stepping onto this surface and this platform, it's been fun to get going.
So I think it was good for for guys to go out and do what we've seen them do for an extended period of time. Chase Olson being one of those where he's really made a move, particularly in the last 4 weeks. We've seen him kind of make that move, and he's kind of given our hitters some fits the last 4 weeks. It was good to see him go do that, and Jay Sean and some of those other guys, the freshmen. We didn't want to get off, get on the plane, on Sunday or Monday without having seen, Pankinen. That was a big one. We wanted to get him in there, so we were going to make sure that happened. It happened earlier than we probably would have liked on Monday, but it was good to see all those guys get in there and perform well.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Oh, I'm in the dark. That's bad.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DB. He's in the dark. Don't be in the dark.
Now I got to move.
Don't be in the dark about your health, though. That's where Next Gen can come in. Not only do they provide your standard testosterone treatment, things like that, but they will do overall blood panels. They do genetic testing. They'll take care of your entire health, whether you're a man or a woman. They've got something for all of us to help get to our peak physical condition. That's why DB and I both love them. It's nextgenmmc.com to schedule an appointment. There you go, DB. Back in the light.
Hey, and I was just there yesterday, so I'm back on
next week. You can go Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I'm back towards my Wednesday slate.
Back on your Wednesdays. I'm proud of you.
Even though you're a hater.
I'm always a hater. You know that.
You're never gonna get back to Wednesdays.
But the only reason I really went yesterday is because I didn't want to have to get out today because I knew it could get hectic.
Yeah, it's a little dicey out. I've got my Friday hair appointment, my haircut coming up, so I'm hoping the roads are a little bit.
But I do too.
I know. Yeah, you head now, and you're driving a lot further than I am.
Yeah, but I live right by the interstate, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, hopefully they got that cleared. It was apparently not cleared.
On a normal day it's 12 minutes, but who knows what I'm going to see on the interstate with these yahoos.
Well, make sure you leave early because I know.
Is it tough out there?
Well, I just know that your guy D Knight is not going to take any lates coming in. He'll say, "Hey,
No. You
no
know, and he
call,
lives
no
in that
show."
condo right there next door, so he doesn't have any problems getting to work.
You show up late. He'll be like, "Hey, what time is it, DB? What time was your appointment?"
He probably owes me a little late start. I don't know.
He's a no nonsense kind of guy. Oh, we lost DB. You still there? What happened?
I'm here.
Okay, they lost.
I listen.
For a minute.
You think I'm controlling that?
No, I don't think it's you. I don't know what's going on. Probably Shane again. Hopefully, he doesn't end our show early again this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Coach Heeser, one of the all time good guys for this last regular season game.
Yeah, I wasn't.
They are on a heater. That's going to be a good one.
I wasn't sure if that was going to get out or not. I know there was some rumblings. I didn't know if that was going to make the public sphere. Apparently, Brent has broke it for us.
Brent out here just breaking news.
Listen, as long as it's not me spilling the secret like you on bracket coverage, then I think we're cool.
Yeah, he said bracket. I mean, it's no big deal. It's like a lot of people run bracket. I just wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure if he said what he wanted to actually run. That's all.
No, he did talk about doing some bracket coverage or something similar to bracket coverage. So Austin, I think, found a way to try and get those two photos up at the same time. He said
he's talented.
It's bad.
It's okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay.
We can see it. That's all we need.
Right? See how the front is still the same?
Yep.
But you've gone from 2 high to 1 high.
So let me ask you this. On the front, in a 4.25 like this, does it ever change?
Yeah, you can change it. You can slide it a little. You can get in like an over and under front. So, if you wanted to be in an over front, your nose would go to the weak side and the 3 technique would be to the strong side. You're just flip-flop the 1 and the 3 to the strength.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's very similar. Like you won't see a lot of you won't see like 2-2. You can. There's some variations, but again, with only 2 linebackers primarily on the second level without the next guy getting into the box to make 7, your fits, you have to be very fit conscious.
So here's the thing I wanted to ask when you were talking earlier with Tim, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys because I thought it was a really good conversation. You talked about less reading and more just being able to do your job. I know we talked about that a lot with the second level. Is that true of the line as well, that they're not reading as much either?
Yeah, it's head down, get flat. You don't. Now you're open side end. I'll see if I'll send one to the guys and see if they can get this up in terms of how you can get it. Go ahead.
Sorry, here's the reason I asked is because last year I didn't really hear anybody talking about what the defensive linemen were having to read in the defense because we were always talking about the second and third levels missing their run fits, not being able to read off of what they were doing. And we also got really rightfully kind of upset about them not being able to establish the line of scrimmage and things like that. But I also thought a couple times, hey, is it just that they don't know what, like they're not confident in what they're supposed to be doing? And that would lead in my mind, at least, lends itself into they were having to read too much. Is that kind of what you're getting at here?
Yeah, I just think, you don't always have 2-way goes. I'm trying to get a decent picture without reflection for you just to kind of.
Sure.
I have to kind of get myself out of there. I don't know, man. It's just it's not great. Okay, but I'm going to do the best that I can on the fly.
Listen, we're all out here just trying to make it.
No, and I mean, this is one of the joys that I think we can get from the studio too, where it's not as you're going to totally see my reflection in this picture, where it's not as cut and dry. But you see, I just sent the guys one that I think they can work with, where I can work with you in terms of gap responsibility. It's kind of a base alignment out of a 1, a 3. Just the basic techniques. I'll see how quickly They can get this bad boy up. We're really stretching them this morning, aren't we?
No,
I mean,
they're
we're
doing
not
a good
in
job.
studio. Everybody's kind of doing this remote thing. Shane doesn't have a microphone, and I'm like sending pictures on the fly and talking through words. Is that pretty talented?
Yeah. They're doing a heck of a job. We definitely appreciate them. And
I
this
can't
will be
believe Austin
easier.
split those pictures.
I know. Well, and he's pulling double duty this weekend too. He was at state wrestling all the last.
Well, remember
couple
what he
days.
told us yesterday when we were taking a long time. He was like, some of us have. There we go.
He's like, we
all right. So you see that, Ravi?
Yep.
So we lost it.
Yep,
so
let's leave it up
you can put any one of those guys on the move. Let's say you want that 3 technique that's over the guard, the DT.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you want him to be an A gap guy.
Okay.
Well, then your second level backer has to fit in his gap.
Okay.
Right? Or whichever way you want the end that's playing in that 6I, that DE, with the 2-way go, you can declare, but your next guy on the second level has to fit off of that.
So like he doesn't have to be in a 2-way go. He can just be.
Yeah, you can put him. But the reason you probably don't move him inside, you put him in a 6 to begin with, is because you're hoping that nose is being doubled by the guard center. So if the nose is working that way, the way that I have that white line drawn, you don't necessarily want to put your end on the move there. Because they'll both be in the same fit.
Yeah.
So you want that DE working vertical
toward the outside of the tackle.
Right? You want him working, you want him getting down, you want him getting up the field. You don't want him working to his right because you'd have 2 guys in the same fit.
Okay, so maybe this is a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So if the nose tackle is working, trying to get that double from the guard center, why not just put the D end in a 7 instead of a 6I?
You can, but your second level has to know that too. Some will play with a 7. Right? But you lose a little bit of your pass rushing angle.
Okay, because I would think from moving further outside, you'd get better pass rushing angle.
Yeah, but then you bring it, you bring the tight end and play more. See, the tight end has to be cognizant of what's going on to the second level too. This front right here is why teams started running duo.
Yes.
Right? With your tight end and tackle.
Double team
and then
down,
guard
double team
and
down.
Then you double. Tight end, tackle, double, guard, center, double. You move to second level. You don't block the backside end and duo, and you let them get busy.
So I was assuming on a pass rush, this is why I was asking about the 7 instead of the 6I. I was assuming on a pass rush, my tight end is releasing, but that's not always going to be the case.
Yeah, not always the case. That's good. That's a good question. Listen, these are conversations we have in our coaches' meetings. Yeah. Like Coach Lamanji will say hey, why not just put him in a 6? Or can we put him in an 8? And, so we'll talk about things. And it's like, well, you can, but where's his fit? And then what changes on the second level? It's conversations you have to have all the time.
How much of that has to do with the skill set of your defensive end?
So that's a good question. I appreciate Austin, you throwing that graphic. I'm crediting the right person, right? This is Austin and not Rico, because I don't want Rico coming down on me about his carny athleticism. That was on me. I forgot Suave used to be like the Flash.
Yeah, you forgot about Track Star.
I know, man. I felt bad about that a couple weeks ago. What was your question again, L3?
How much does it matter about the skill set of your defensive end if you want to do like a 6I versus a 7?
It matters a ton, right? So like if I have Williams Winari, like I don't really want him playing in a 4.
Right. You want him further in space, right?
Yeah. I want him as an edge guy. I want him as a soft shoulder guy. I don't want him giving up. I don't want him only having a 1-way go from his pass rush. He's given up inside position. You have to rush the passer from the inside position. Like I don't like Van Poppel. Like let's say Van Poppel goes the DT. Let's say he's the DT here. I don't want him in like a 2. I don't want him like head up on the guard. right? Because then
Yeah.
you need more knockback.
Like punch, right?
Yeah, you need more knockback. If you're on a shade or a shoulder or in
You
an
can win
odd,
with athleticism a little bit more.
yeah, you get to gap guys out.
Mm.
If I'm in a 2, like if you put the DT and an NT in 2s,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the center has to make a decision on where he helps, but you're not going to get a ton of knockback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So a guy like, let's take Cam Lenhart, for instance. He might do a little better.
Cam is an odd number guy. I would not play Cam in anything head up.
Okay.
I'd put him shoulder. I'd put him in a gap. I'd put Ochoa in a gap. Now, there are some guys that are gifted enough to do both. This used to be the Gerald McCoy and Ndamukong Suh discussion when they were coming out. It was one was a 2-gap guy, one was a 1-gap guy.
Okay.
Well, it turns out Suh could do either.
Yeah, Suh can do whatever he wants. Yeah.
But this is what people talk about. Do you like playing head up, or do you like playing in a shade? So it is really, really, really important that your skill sets match what you rut the front to do.
Based on what we know about the guys in the room, and I know that there's a handful of new guys too, right? Whether it's Jashir Whittington, whether it's Stoudemire, whether it's Jones from UCLA. There's a few new guys, right? But based on
why I say it's important to be able to win your one-on-ones?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you don't win your one-on-one, then it gets messy for the second level, right? Like it gets
in a hurry.
Yeah.
That's what you have to be able. That's the downside to playing a 4-down is you have to win your one-on-ones.
So if you, based on Nebraska's guys in that room, skill set wise, do you feel like this fits better what their physical abilities are compared to what they were trying to do last year?
Yeah, you can play more guys. Look at how many guys you can see being DEs versus interior linemen.
And so correct me if I'm wrong, the interior linemen don't need to be as, like, this is less of a we need a 330-pounder guy.
Yeah. This is a guy
like 290, 300.
Yeah, this is kind of lighter, quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Lighter, quicker. And I'm with Lance. Saban was the master of this. Most people got this from him.
And Orch talked about that.
What's that?
Orch talked about the Saban influence.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this is what it is. This is split field, open, middle of the field, closed. But this is, these guys, if you can rush the passer out of these ends by getting vertical, you can do some things. You also can set edges a lot better, a lot quicker too.
Okay, I want to get back to setting the edges. But can I ask a stupid question about the split safety?
Yeah.
Is there any...
guys, pull the split safety graphic back up if you could. This the base 425. That's the one high. Go 2 high. There you go.
Is there a version of 2 high safeties that isn't considered split safeties?
No, because that's what these two are by their alignment.
Okay, so all 2 high safety is split safety.
Pretty much split safeties, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was.
No, that's okay. I mean, that's a legit question.
So I want to go back to setting the edge here for just a second, because I think that was something that we got very frustrated with last year out of this defense. It seemed like they weren't doing a very good job. We couldn't tell, are they trying to box? Are they trying to spill? When you're setting the edge, what does that lend itself to in terms of boxing or spilling?
So if you're gonna set the edge, then you're probably gonna want to contain more.
Box, right?
Right.
Okay.
In theory, but you do have some nuances to the open or to the strength or not. Like sometimes if you're +1 to a side, you may do one thing or the other. It's not as predetermined. Like Nebraska will probably run a lot of split coverage too.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, like those guys got to know, hey, I'm a D-gap player. I'm a D-gap player. That means if I'm a D-gap guy, I have to own D-gap.
Yeah.
Like if I ask Caleb right now, one of the things that he loves about this is as the post safety, as the boundary safety, he's a backside B gap run fitter. He knows that right now. Like when he wants to get down to the box with this front, it's clean for him. So he kind of likes this. But in this front, let's say the tackle, so to the backside, to the running backside, and they're running outside zone. That means tackle's going to try to reach the DN. Guard is going to step to his left. Center's going to work left. S&M, the second level guys, are working over the top, right?
Okay.
Even everybody's trying to work to their left and overtake from an offensive side. That nickel is going to have to probably take on that Y. The M is going to fit inside the nickel, but outside the DN. See the M?
Yep.
He's going to fit between the DE and the NI. The safety has to make all those guys right. So he has to get in where he fits in. So he's like, am I going to be an alley runner, which would be outside the nickel? Or am I going to be a crease guy, which would be inside the nickel?
Okay.
So that safety's got to know right away, hey, I'm alley or crease. Am I going to be an alley or crease guy? So if I'm setting the edge, the end knows, the DE knows I cannot get reached by that tackle. That tackle cannot get outside of me. The Mike then knows I fit inside the DE. Does that make sense?
Wait, okay. So
Look at the screen.
I feel like you switched it there on me. I thought the mic was going between the DE and the
listen to what I'm telling you. I'm saying about setting the edge quickly.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So if the DE knows he can't get reached, he's getting vertical right away. Think first long run against Penn State where Cam Lenhart got stretched.
Yep.
Right? Cam Lenhart kept working laterally towards the sideline.
Yep.
And it screwed up McGahee's fit because he thought he could shoot his shot, and it still got outside McGahee down the sideline.
Okay. Yes.
Or not McGahee, Cam Lenhart down the sideline. Then Donovan Jones, who was playing the corner, came inside the Z receiver, and it all got outside of the strong safety. Do you remember the run?
Yes, because there
was
was
first long run against Penn State.
Well, and there was a little bit of gap discipline issue there, right? Because the running back sort of pressed inside and then bounced a little.
Yeah.
So I think it baited Donovan Jones into coming inside.
Yeah. So
that's the one we're talking about, right?
Yeah. So if the DE sets the edge right away, I can't get reached. Mike can work more downhill than at 40 than working laterally.
Okay. Gotcha.
Then the nickel knows I'm going to take this number 2 receiver on and keep outside leverage. I'm not going to get pinned inside by this Y, even though he has a very advantageous position right now because the nickel is sitting inside the Y in this diagram.
So he's got to get out. He's got to get outside.
He's got to work out because he can work out because who's setting the edge?
The D end.
Who fits inside the nickel?
The Mike.
Who's the backside cutback guy?
The backside cutback guy is going to be my strong safety there.
The
backside cutback guy.
Yeah, is the second level S.
Is the Sam.
Yes.
Yeah.
See how that works?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So this might be oversimplifying things, but
this is real. What I'm doing is super simple. There's tons of variations. I'm giving you like the basis of it.
So my thought process is, and the way we've sort of described it here, we're basically asking the safeties to do most of the reading, right? The DN knows he has to do this. The Mike linebacker knows he has to do this. The Sam knows where he's supposed to be.
And the safety knows I've got to fit in such a way that makes those guys right.
Yeah, but he's basically looking at like one of 2 options, right?
Yeah.
Like either inside
but
or
if
outside.
everybody's doing their job in front of them, then you don't give the runner a 2-way go.
Right.
The problem too often last year was backs had a 2-way go.
Right. And if everybody does their job in front of the safety, he is doing a read, but it won't end up being a 2-way go if everybody does their job.
Yeah. He can play. Yeah. He can work quicker.
So here's my question, and this might be overly simple, but this is how my brain is
Appreciate
working
you
while we're
guys.
talking through this. It seems like the best scenario for a defense is to not have to make a read or a significant read until the third level. Is that fair? Because
Yes.
especially on run fits at least, because
Yeah.
it seemed like we were asking defensive linemen to read at the point of attack seems idiotic to me.
Yeah, but that's what two gapping is, because you have to read pressure. You have to read the neck when you two gap.
So I don't like two gapping, basically, is what we're finding out.
But it has its listen, two gapping has it. If you two gap,
okay,
you probably don't give up as many vertical running seams right away.
Okay. That's where we saw them get bleed for like 4, 5, 6 runs, 6-yard runs a lot, but they were keeping it under the explosive runs.
Yeah. If you're two gapping and you give up an immediate vertical run seam, you probably get creased.
Yeah. That's the home run balls that we saw against certain teams.
That's what happens. You give a downhill runner a two-way go when you should be two gapping. Now, in this case, if you're gapping a team out, if there's a guy for a gap, and I'm going to try to +1 on the backside, then you want to spill more. You want to string it out so everybody can work downhill.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Two gapping isn't bad. You just have to be able to do it. And you're probably not going to get a lot of knockbacks or a lot of tackles for losses.
So I think that's what bothers me. I think I don't like the lack of explosive defensive line play out of a two gap. I do think it's also.
I mean, you occasionally can get a Sue or a Haloti Nada where those guys are two gapping and you still get knocked back.
Yeah, they're freak shows. So but again, with Seward, he could have done whatever he wanted, right? I mean,
what we're hoping, we had one in Campbell a couple of years ago where you can get a guy that can two gap. We'd say he's eating because we want him to eat, where you still get knocked back. We hope we have that guy in our odd front this year. If we get a two gap knockback guy, just imagine our creativity.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it opens a ton of things up for you, right?
Yeah. Well, they didn't Kobe. They didn't two gap their way to the Super Bowl. They split high safety their way to the Super Bowl. The Seahawks got to stop the run with split safeties. If you can stop the run with two high safeties, dude, that's why you got to see their edge rushers just get vertical. Their interior guys constantly commanded double teams. So the Jamarcus Lawrences of the world, all you saw them do was just get vertical.
Yeah, they were in Mays.
I mean, the Seahawks ends just get vertical, and their interior 1s and 3s, you needed to double them. So if your ends are getting vertical and your 1s and your interior guys are getting doubled, that's winning one-on-ones. That's winning one-on-ones. Their interior were getting doubled. That's what he's talking about. They're not necessarily getting vertical. They do two gap in theory, but they were commanding doubles because they could get penetration. He's what McDonald is talking about is if my two interior lines take either a tackle guard or a guard center all the time, my edges get to work 1v1s.
Yeah.
You can make either work. But the thing about it is you have to find guys that can command doubles. That's the thing. But it's all, 11 guys with all your gaps. Remember, the key is, Kobe, is you want one guy to be able to play two gaps. Any of them. One guy be responsible for two gaps. If you can have two guys be responsible for two gaps, you're always going to be +1, sometimes +2. His interiors constantly commanded doubles, so his edge guys were always getting single blocked. It was incredible. He built that thing with guys. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence, why did Will Campbell look so bad? Because their one guy was on one guy.
Yeah.
That like, just think of it that way. Just think of it that way. Campbell wasn't going to get any help because
he couldn't.
Because his offensive coordinator decided that he wanted to go spread with one back in the backfield and not using tight ends as inline guys. So it was just 1v1s.
Yeah, and if you're commanding double teams on the inside and you don't send help for Will Campbell, there is no option, right? Like he's just won the whole time.
Correct, Kobe. Byron Murphy is a two-gap eater. He is in absolute terror. Like, Byron Murphy's incredible. They need to when his contract's up in a few years, goodness.
Yeah, need to go all rounders and pay that man his money.
Oh yeah, he'll get paid now. He'll get. I mean, when the Ravens were good, really, really good. I mean, look at what Nada was doing.
Yeah.
You could put him in a 0. You could put him in a 1, and guards, center's either going to have to block back. Guards got to come down. Like, you have to work that way. Like, it's tough. It is really tough.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Really good stuff there.
I think we're gonna need stuff like this
to
know what we're talking about when we talk about like the different fronts. He said, "Extend him now." Shoot, they might. What is this? This will be year 3 for Murph.
He's going into year 3. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
He is definitely. I mean, just watch their interior line. Guard, center, guard could not handle their 2 interiors.
Yeah.
I mean, New England was constantly having to use 3 for 2. They just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Which is why people are mad at the offensive game plan, because I think he basically thought if he spread Seattle out, they could play in space. I don't know. I think he had to probably bring more into the phone booth. He should have probably been in way more 12 personnel.
Don't
get it back.
Not giving Will Campbell any help the entire game is probably going to age pretty poorly on Josh McDaniel, if I had to imagine.
We'll get into that next week because we didn't get into some of Holgerson's answers in the glowing review. How about the running back stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was super interesting, especially with the Ives part where he's like, well, if it goes a different way, maybe we go get somebody.
Yeah, there's a lot in there we didn't get to.
For sure. We will get to Holgerson's stuff on Monday. We'll be in the new studio, and at some point, I don't know if it'll be here yet, but we'll have a whiteboard. We can do a bunch more of this stuff. I certainly should be able to have that going by the spring game, where I think we'll actually be able to get into some more specifics. So I'm excited about that. DB, stay warm out there. Good luck driving to the barber, and have a good weekend, bud. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I got an hour and 40 minutes to get my mind right.
All right, man. Well, that's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. We will see you on Monday.